This story starts with world destruction, like many other manhwas. The whole city was on fire, with armies and aliens fighting in the sky, and on the ground, huge monsters were attacking the public, devouring them like chickens. Suddenly, a beast so huge appeared that it blocked out the sun and darkened the sky. Yet, it felt like a kindred spirit. Our protagonist walked towards the huge beast, and looking into the beast's eyes, he felt as if they were the same being. The beast was him, and he was the beast. The huge beast turned to those monsters and shot an energy beam from its mouth like Godzilla. For all the humans running away from the aliens and monsters, it was a sign of hope that something that powerful was on their side. Our protagonist looked down on the world, knowing that the world would honor him as if he were a god. Now, he is the hope of humanity, who can control that huge beast. This all started a few months ago. It was reported on the news that on June 2nd, 2224, the zoo of Ning City was attacked by a snake more than 100 meters long. Experts have not been able to determine the species of the snake. Several citizens were able to film the appearance of a giant whale-like beast in the sky north of the city, which caused quite a stir. Lately, internationally wanted criminals have been on the loose in Ning City. The news was live on the television in a room where our protagonist was lying on a table covered in his blood. He was able to see himself lying unconscious. He was very confused because the body in front of his eyes was his own body. He didn't understand what was going on, and turned around to look in a mirror. He was shocked to see himself in the mirror because he had just turned into a sea iguana. Our protagonist's name is Chen Chu, a sophomore at the University of Ning. He has been renting a place outside the school since he doesn't like living in the dorms. He likes cold-blooded animals and is fascinated by their vibrant colors. The pet store he bought animals from just got a new batch of exotic pets today, and Chen was immediately drawn to a sea iguana, an amphibious creature. Sea iguanas are generally gentle, but an accident happened the moment it was let loose. It broke its cage and attacked Chen, biting his hand with its sharp teeth. Chen was in immense pain, and immediately took out his phone from his pocket and hit the sea iguana on the head. When the sea iguana got hit, it lost its grip and freed Chen's hand. But before falling, the sea iguana's tail hit Chen's phone, and it struck Chen on the head. Like that, both of them lost consciousness. After seeing himself as a sea iguana in his dreams, Chen woke up. He found the sea iguana right in front of his face, but something had changed in both of them. Chen raised his hand, and the sea iguana also raised its hand. Chen was surprised to find that now he could control the body of the lizard, as if controlling his own arms. He smiled looking at the sea iguana, wondering if this was his so-called golden finger, and this was finally the time for his hero's journey to begin. But there was a problem. Chen didn't know what his iguana buddy could do. He wondered whether he should go on a live stream to show off how smart his lizard was, or sell freshly dug up abalone or sea cucumbers. Thinking about all that, Chen got disappointed. He guessed he wasn't meant to be a main character after all. When other people received cheats, they either became powerful villains ordained by fate, or transformed into a tree that grew into the god of the universe. And here he was, stuck with a little lizard. While he was thinking all this, both his and the iguana's stomachs growled together. Chen was very hungry, as he hadn't realized he had passed out for the entire day. Looking at the iguana, he wondered what sea iguanas eat. His sea iguana was very curious, and started climbing on Chen's hand. Seeing that, Chen thought since it's a lizard, it should be fine with meat. He took out a packed steak from his refrigerator, and, with his amazing cooking skills, made a delicious medium-rare steak. When the sea iguana saw Chen's cooked steak, its eyes lit up immediately. It started eating the steak happily. Seeing it eat like that, Chen smiled and said, "I knew it. Sea iguanas and lizards can both eat meat." Just as the sea iguana started eating the steak, suddenly a system notification popped up in front of Chen's eyes saying, "After eating, your clone received 5 evolution points, and your constitution has increased by 0.5. Chen was shocked by what this was, and before he could understand anything, suddenly the whole system status window popped up. It was Chen's status window. It showed that Chen was level 0. His constitution was 8.5, and his spirit was 12. He had the mind control talent, and he possessed external aura and chi perception traits, both at the beginner level with 0 out of 1000 experience. His skills were extremities boxing, beginner level with 48 points, stepping cloud jump, also beginner with 66 points, and springing leg, also beginner with 39 points. His first clone was the sea iguana. Its evolution had not started. It had 5 points, and needed 200 points for the first evolution. Chen was too shocked to see that status window. He wondered if this was what his actual cheat was. In the status window, what caught Chen's eyes were his skills. Looking at those skills, Chen remembered his past. In his childhood, His father used to teach him martial arts. He used to tell Chen that if he only practiced the form without understanding the foundation, he might have learned nothing. The root of his force is at his feet. It should start from his thighs and control his abdomen. These lessons lasted 10 to 12 hours a day, making Chen's little body very exhausting. But whenever Chen asked his father if he could take a break, his father immediately told him no, saying it was cowardly to give up halfway. From the beginning, Chen didn't want to be a coward, so he started practicing again, running as fast as he could, even when he tripped and fell on the ground or got injured. His father didn't help him, only telling him that no one else would help him when he grew up. Then, one day when Chen was 10 years old, his father handed him a box, telling Chen that it contained all their savings. He told Chen that he needed to take a very long trip, and that Chen would have to walk the rest of the journey himself. Chen was very sad that day. For the first time, Chen's father patted Chen's head and told him to remember that he could not neglect practicing martial arts, and when he was strong enough, he would be able to see the other side of the world. Chen was very sad and asked his dad how he was supposed to find him again. His father told Chen that when he became a grandmaster, but his father stopped before completing his sentence and told Chen that he might not be here anymore by then. Just like that, Chen's father left the house and closed the main door. Since then, his father has not returned. Chen got very emotional remembering his past. He looked at a picture of his father and mother, and was very sad because a decade had passed before he knew it. While Chen was lost in his thoughts, the sea iguana completely cleared his plate. Chen was amazed to see how fast this little guy eats. After the iguana finished, its body started shining in red. Chen looked closely at the iguana, and was confused if this was just him, or if the sea iguana had just grown longer. Chen immediately looked in his status window, and saw that the sea iguana's evolution points had increased to 15. Chen was a little surprised to see that the sea iguana had 15 points now after a meal. While he was understanding how his system works, something caught his eye. Chen saw himself in the mirror placed in his room. His body seemed very different from before. He immediately checked his body, and was very shocked to see his 8-pack abs. Chen's body wasn't this built before. He realized that the points the iguana received could even reflect on him. Chen looked at his iguana, wondering that since it could evolve for the first time if it got more points, perhaps it could even grow into the Behemoth from his dreams. Chen got very happy thinking that with the help of this system, he could become a real martial arts grandmaster. The next day at the marketplace, Chen bought 10 pounds of prime beef, no bones, and 20 pounds of pork, lean meat, also no bones, and asked the shopkeeper to pack all of it. He then used his phone to pay with the QR code. He put everything in the back of his car, thinking this should be enough to last for a few days. He then drove off from the marketplace. Without wasting any time, he directly returned to his apartment. Using his master chef skill, he made all kinds of dishes for the sea iguana to eat because, with that, he would be closer to becoming a martial arts master. Seeing those dishes, the sea iguana's mouth watered. In just a few seconds, the sea iguana finished all of the plates. Chen connected his mind with the sea iguana, and found out that in the sea iguana's palate, pork didn't taste as good as beef. He then disconnected the control, and woke up. With just a few minutes of connection, he felt tired. While stretching, he said, "The beef could use a bit more cumin. I'll make sure to add more next time." After the meal, the sea iguana took a nap while wearing sunglasses. On the other hand, Chen went to the martial arts room to train. With all his force, he punched the punching bag. His punch was so strong that it completely changed the punching bag's shape. A system notification came telling Chen that after his hard work training, his extremities boxing experience had increased by 5 points. Chen was happy because not only had his constitution improved, but his training progress was faster than before. 2 days passed like this. Chen was still training, having destroyed 2 punching bags in these 2 days, and the current one he was using didn't look that great. After training for that long, he was a little exhausted. This feeling of getting stronger just by working hard at training is amazing. Before ending this section, Chen again jumped to the punching bag. He kicked the punching bag with all his power, and his kick was so strong that the chains holding the punching bag broke, sending it flying. After just 3 days of training, Chen's attributes had increased significantly. His extremities boxing skill upgraded to an intermediate level, and his stepping cloud jump and springing leg skills also increased in power. Not only that, the sea iguana's evolution points also increased to 195. It now only needed 5 points to evolve for the first time. Looking at his status window, Chen said, "From the perspective of traditional martial arts, right now, I should have reached the peak of the Ming realm." Chen remembered his father telling him that the realms of martial arts are divided into Ming, Dark, and Transformation. The peak of the Ming realm makes one a top-notch fighter, capable of taking on 10 opponents alone. The Dark Realm makes one a first-rate expert, able to fight 100 at once, but they are usually hidden within legendary families. The Transformation Realm allows one to take on 1,000. They're the Grandmasters recorded in history, rare in modern times. The Transformation Realm represents an unbreakable body, only described in ancient texts. At that time, Chen was very amazed, and asked his father which realm he was in. Chen's father told him that he once briefly reached the Dark Realm, but his expression darkened, remembering what happened after that. Little Chen didn't understand his father's emotions. He was very amazed by his father reaching the Dark Realm, and asked him if he was from one of those legendary families too. Chen's father was shocked by little Chen's question. He took a deep breath and told Chen that he was just from Luotuan. In the present, it's already afternoon. When Chen comes out of the martial arts room, he finds his sea iguana lying on the sofa. He was surprised to see the sea iguana, which had grown so much already in just 3 days. The sea iguana only needed 5 more points to evolve. Looking at it, Chen said, "One more meal, and you will be ready to evolve. Let's hope it won't be disappointing." He again made many dishes, and gave them to the sea iguana. As the sea iguana started eating, its evolution points began to increase. The evolution points reached 199. It was almost ready to evolve. Chen connected himself to the sea iguana, because he couldn't wait to see how this little guy changes. When the evolution points reached 200, a system notification came telling Chen that his clone, the sea iguana, had met the evolution requirements, and evolution would now begin. Just as that notification came, a lightning-like pain ran through the sea iguana's left hand. It was too painful, and Chen, who was connected to the sea iguana, also felt that pain in his left hand. Both Chen and the sea iguana fell to the ground because of the pain. Spikes grew on the sea iguana's back, its body grew, and scales appeared all over its body. The sea iguana was in so much pain because of the changes in its body that it ran wild in the room, destroying everything in its way. After a few minutes, the pain of the transformation slowed down. Chen was still lying on the ground and was very shocked. He hadn't thought that evolution would hurt this much. Suddenly, he heard some noises from his side and took a look. It was the sea iguana, which had now grown to the size of a crocodile. Chen was impressed seeing its size and decided to see how strong his sea iguana was after evolving. On Chen's command, the sea iguana turned with lightning speed and hit the punching bag with its tail. The punching bag burst from the sea iguana's tail attack. Chen was impressed because the evolved iguana now had extraordinary power. After the sea iguana's evolution, Chen's attributes increased again. His constitution doubled, and his spirit increased by 2. His external aura and chi perception traits also became more powerful. After completing the first evolution, the sea iguana needed 1,000 evolution points to evolve again. Chen was surprised looking at his status window as he hadn't expected that when the clone evolves, his main body's physique and attributes would directly double in growth. Looking at his status window, Chen was a little confused. He just didn't know if his attributes increased because his current strength was too weak, or if every time the clone evolves, his body's constitution would double. Chen smiled, thinking, if it's the former, then my strength will improve at a decent pace early on, but if it's the latter, that would be kind of terrifying. Currently, judging by traditional martial arts standards, Chen realized that he had just entered the Dark Realm. He activated his traits which allow him to unleash external energy. Seeing a red energy coming out of his body, Chen got very happy because now, he was officially a martial arts expert. But after looking into that energy, Chen understands that with training, 100 skill experience points a day is the limit. He thought that, since the improvements are mirrored, to further enhance his body, he will have to rely on the sea iguana. He again connected himself with the sea iguana, and when he released his energy, the sea iguana also released the same energy. Chen was shocked to find that even the iguana could release his external energy. Suddenly, the sea iguana got alert and looked in the direction of the main door. It felt someone's presence. That person started knocking on Chen's apartment door. Chen was also a little surprised by the sudden guest. The one knocking on the door was a muscular guy who looked very angry. Chen opened the door slowly and asked the muscular guy what happened. The muscular guy was shocked to see Chen. Chen came out while his energy was still active, and because of that, his presence felt like some monster in the form of a human. The muscular guy was shaking in fear after seeing Chen, thinking, what's with this kid? He's giving me the vibe that he could crush me in seconds. The muscular guy tried to act as sweet as he could to not anger Chen, and told Chen that lately, it's been kind of noisy upstairs, so he came to check if his place was under renovation. Chen acted clueless, and immediately apologized to the man, and explained to him that there are no renovations here. It's just that he has been training lately and didn't realize it was that loud. The muscular guy got more scared to hear that it was just training. wondering whose training feels like an earthquake. He tried to take a sneak peek into Chen's apartment and saw that everything inside Chen's apartment was destroyed. It looked like an earthquake had happened inside. The muscular guy was too scared seeing all that. He realized that if he said something to Chen, it would not go well. He immediately turned around and said, "It's fine, no big deal." While leaving, he asked Chen if he could change his training methods a bit, like maybe something quieter. Chen apologized again and told the man that it was no problem. He would adjust his training methods from now on. The scared muscular guy thanked Chen and immediately went into the elevator to escape from there. After he left, Chen's sea iguana came out, which had been hiding on Chen's command. After checking that everything was okay and that the muscular guy hadn't found out about the sea iguana, Chen closed the door. Looking at his sea iguana's size, he realized that the sea iguana clone was too large and it was no longer suitable to keep indoors. He decided that it was about time to release the sea iguana clone into the sea. He took the sea iguana in his car and drove off to the nearest beach. When he got to the beach and checked that no one was around, he opened the door of his car and let the sea iguana come out. Even though it was a sea iguana, it was its first time seeing the sea in reality. After that, Chen connected his mind with the sea iguana, controlled its body, and went into the sea. When the sea iguana was underwater, Chen activated his energy sense. When the energy sensing was activated, Chen could see many sea creatures all around him. With the current energy sense, he could cover a radius of 10 meters around him. While he was exploring the sea and its animals, he saw a 5-eyed fish swimming. Chen was shocked to see that a fish actually had 5 eyes. He decided to make it today's first target. Slowly, he started following the 5-eyed fish, and when he got very near, he immediately jumped to attack. The fish was too shocked to see the sea iguana, and immediately went inside a hole in the ground. When Chen followed the fish into that hole, the 5-eyed fish came out suddenly to attack. Chen didn't give the fish any chance to deal damage and immediately attacked it. He bit the fish's stomach with its sharp teeth. After killing the fish, the sea iguana ate it. A system notification came telling Chen that after eating the mutated fish, his clone gained 10 evolution points. Chen's physique also increased by 1. Chen was surprised to see 10 evolution points because after evolving, eating normal food only provides 1 evolution point per meal, but mutated fish can actually give 10 points. Chen thought that with these kinds of mutated creatures appearing in the ocean, and considering the recent news, it seems like the world is far from peaceful. While roaming around, Chen noticed a mutated fish with 10 eyes and hunted it down. He killed that fish with its sharp teeth and devoured it, gaining more evolution points. After a few hours, Chen got a system notice that his clone had already reached the daily cap of 100 evolution points, and he could not gain more today. Chen was amazed to see that to human eyes, the ocean at night is cold and pitch black. But through the sea iguana clone's eyes, Chen saw that the underwater world is colorful and vibrant. As an amphibian, the sea iguana can stay underwater for a long time, but since it doesn't have gills, it still relies on lungs to breathe, so it needs to surface for air every now and then. While he was exploring, he saw a huge crack on the surface of the sea. He went into that crack and found a cave inside filled with air. Chen thought this spot looked pretty good and decided to have the sea iguana clone rest here. After disconnecting the mind control of the sea iguana, Chen said, "Since the clone is settled, it's about time for me to head back." While he was heading home, he saw a house in the middle of the forest. Chen was shocked to see that house. He could not believe that someone was actually living in this place. But before he could pass that house, he heard someone's voice asking for help. Chen understood that something might be wrong. His super hearing acted at the right time, but to not alert the bad guys, he didn't stop his car and went ahead. His decision was right because 2 thugs, one bald and one with blue hair, were looking at his car from inside the house. They checked carefully to see if Chen's car had left. Those thugs had kidnapped a girl whose screams for help Chen had heard. 2 thugs were checking outside, and one black-haired thug was preventing the girl from screaming. The bald thug kicked the black-haired guy, shouting, "How are you this careless? Didn't I tell you to watch her? You didn't even notice the cloth fell out of her mouth." The black-haired thug explained to his boss that it was so dark out here. How could he have seen it when they dragged her in? The bald thug understood that it wasn't his fault. He took a cloth and covered the girl's mouth, telling her to shut up and behave, or he would let the guys have their fun tonight. The girl was very scared and helpless. Little did she know that her savior had already arrived. Chen came by foot so that the thugs wouldn't get alerted. He immediately activated his energy sense, which allowed him to easily see what was happening inside the house and how many people were there. It worked like X-ray vision. He saw that inside, there were 2 thugs having a drink, and a girl who was tied with ropes. There was another thug standing beside the main door, eating something and busy on his phone. Seeing the scene from inside, Chen realized that it was either kidnapping or human trafficking. There were 3 men, and 2 of them had knives. Chen decided that it was best to deal with them within a minute. He gathered all his energy in his hand, and then smashed the main door of the house. When he smashed the door, the thugs were surprised, and immediately took out their knives. Chen didn't give them any chance to attack. He immediately kicked the black-haired thug in the stomach. That thug went flying and hit a wall behind with a solid impact. Shouting, "You piece of shit!" The bald thug jumped to attack Chen from behind, but Chen turned around with lightning speed and hit that thug on the chest with his elbow. Chen's attack broke that thug's ribs, sending him flying. But then the third blue-haired thug appeared and caught the bald thug from falling. He told the bald thug to take a breath, then came forward and took a martial arts technique pose, announcing his move as Yue Wang Fist. His name was Ning Fu, and he asked Chen for his move. Chen also took the pose of the martial arts technique his father taught him, announcing it as Luo Tuan 8 Extremities Boxing. Their fight started when Ning Fu used his Yue Wang Fist technique, Move 1, To Lu Fist, and attacked Chen. However, Chen easily blocked his fist and pulled Ning Fu toward himself. Just as Ning Fu was within range, Chen attempted to kick him in the face, but Ning Fu blocked Chen's attack with his leg. Then he used his Yue Wang Fist's Move 2. 2 horses joined Tang and punched Chen in the face with full power. His punch landed perfectly, making Chen realize that Ning Fu was an expert. Chen was falling but managed to balance himself and stop. Now Ning Fu was in his range. Ning Fu was surprised to see Chen still standing. Before he could react, Chen turned around with lightning speed and used his 8 Extremities Boxing's Iron Mountain Slam technique, slamming Ning Fu with his shoulder. Chen's attack was so powerful that Ning Fu went flying and hit the ground with a solid impact. Ning Fu was on the ground but smiled, thinking this was getting interesting. He stood up and told Chen he didn't expect that. After coming down the mountain, he would meet a real disciple of Luo Tuan 8 Extremities. Ning Fu admitted that the Iron Mountain Slam, an ultimate move of 8 extremities, deserved its reputation. But Chen told him it was a shame though. Confused, Ning Fu asked him what he meant by a shame. Chen walked towards Ning Fu and told him that he didn't expect to see a thug being halfway decent with Yue Wang Fist. What a shame that the disciple of Yue Wang Fist has gone on a crooked path, Chen said. Hearing that, Ning Fu started smiling. While standing, he said, "What are you so high and mighty for? You're just a student who doesn't know any better. I only understood after I left the mountain." He suddenly jumped to attack Chen, shouting, "In this world, if you want to get ahead, you have to do whatever it takes." Ning Fu abandoned his martial arts techniques and used his fingers to attack Chen's eyes. Chen was surprised but reacted in time and kicked Ning Fu in the face, sending him flying. Ning Fu went flying and fell on his face. After the battlefield, Chen's adrenaline went down, and he fell to the ground. Chen admitted that the battle between martial artists is truly dangerous. The pressure he felt from Ning Fu was way more than that of dozens of strong muscle men. Looking at his fist, Chen thought, "Too bad that my control over my strength is still inadequate. Things don't bode well for these 3 people. They all got serious injuries." Chen decided to practice mastering control over his strength somehow. After seeing all the kidnappers defeated, the girl started making sounds to call Chen. Chen went and freed her from the ropes. The girl was so scared she immediately hugged Chen. Chen comforted her, saying, "It's all right now. Don't be scared." The girl, while crying, thanked Chen for his help. After the girl calmed down a little, Chen gave her a phone and told her that she could call the police after he left. Chen told her if the police asked her about him, she could tell them she didn't get a good look at him and didn't know who he was. The girl he saved was very pretty. She nodded and told Chen that she wouldn't tell the police. Then, 10 minutes later, the police arrived at the scene. They surrounded the whole place, and officers entered inside, telling the thugs to not move and put their hands in the air. But those officers were shocked to see inside. They saw that all the thugs were already lying on the ground, and only the girl was standing there. The scene then shifts to police headquarters. Security agency police officer Guan Qing comes to her deputy chief's office with the information he requested. She told the deputy chief that they were able to see clear footprints on the broken door. Based on the depth and the way the door axle broke off, someone kicked the door open from the front, sending the door flying about 3 meters away, so the force used was at least 1,000 kilograms. She took out all the photos from the scene and told the deputy chief that among the kidnappers, 2 of them died instantly, and the one left has entered a vegetative state after suffering a major concussion. According to the kidnapped girl, Lin Rongya, the person who helped her was wearing a mask in the night, and she couldn't tell what they looked like. The deputy chief of the security agency looked at those photos and got confused, asking how this could be. The most force the king of boxing was able to exert was 800 kilograms on a machine in boxing. In real life, it's unheard of for this amount of force to be reached. Officer Guanqing agreed, saying, "It's true that this guy's strength is inhuman, although stranger things have been happening lately." While they were talking, suddenly thunder struck above the city. Looking outside his window, the deputy chief said a storm is coming. He was not talking about the weather. He was talking about evil things which could disturb the city's public. On the other hand, after saving that girl, Chen went to a lakeside with his car. There was a boat in the lake, and Chen's attention was not on the boat. He was looking at that boat from his car. From that boat, 3 men came out. 2 men were shirtless and looked like thugs, but the third man with black hair looked like a businessman. One of the thugs called the black-haired man boss and asked him why he had just made some money and already spent 1 million on a woman from Bald Tiger, questioning if that wasn't too wasteful. The other thug agreed with the first, telling his boss that it took them so long to dig up a sunken ship and they only made a little more than 2 million. Hearing them, the black-haired guy called them short-sighted and asked them if they even knew who that woman is, stating that money will not be an issue if they have her. Hearing that, both of the thugs got happy. The black-haired boss then asked one thug if he had finished the business with the company. That thug told him not to worry, saying he had already arranged a shipping company. They rented a high-end office building for the offices according to his request. Another thug told the black-haired boss that he also got the headhunting company to find them the prettiest girls for the secretary and the front desk positions, and he would not be disappointed. Hearing that, the black-haired boss smiled and said, with the underwater breathing ability he had awakened, as long as they find the position of a sunken ship, they can get all the treasures on shore. They will have as much money as they want. He laughed and asked those thugs to follow him closely, and he would not let them starve. While they were talking, suddenly something jumped on a tree behind them, alerting those 3. The black-haired boss immediately turned around and asked, "Who's there?" It was Chen who was behind the tree. He came out and told the black-haired guy that he had seen a lot of perverts, but some were especially notable. Seeing Chen emerge from behind the tree, the black-haired guy took out his knife and immediately jumped to attack Chen, shouting, "You've got a lot of nerve, but people like you don't live long." He was fully intent on killing Chen, not knowing that Chen was a martial artist. Chen gathered all his energy into his leg, and then kicked the ground with full force, his attack so powerful that it made the ground explode, causing the black-haired man to bounce into the air. Just as he fell, Chen hit his hand, making him lose his knife. Chen didn't give the black-haired guy any chance to fight back and kicked him in the stomach, sending him flying into a tree. The other 2 thugs were scared seeing their boss defeated. One thug said, "It's impossible. The boss has become way stronger and faster after he got his superpower. He can defeat 5 guys easily." The second thug said it's not good and suggested they run away, but before they could escape, Chen hit the back of their heads, making them lose consciousness and fall to the ground. After taking down those 2 thugs, Chen turned to the black-haired guy and asked him to look at him. The black-haired guy was scared and asked Chen what he was doing. Chen was going to test out his mind control power. He activated the mind control skill and asked the black-haired guy for his name and occupation. Looking into Chen's eyes, the black-haired guy's mind was controlled by Chen and turned purple. He came to Chen and told him that his name was Zhang Changshu. He owned a ship, smuggled for a living, and a month ago, he acquired the superpower to breathe underwater. Hearing the black-haired guy spill everything about himself, Chen was pleased because his mind control was very effective. The black-haired guy was now essentially a puppet under his control. He continued and told Chen that he raided sunken ships in the depths and exchanged any treasure he found for money with rich folks. After the black-haired guy had told him everything, Chen canceled the mind control. Just as the mind control ended, the black-haired guy's broken hand started hurting like crazy, and he fell to the ground. He called Chen boss and asked him what happened to his hand. Chen was confused and told him that he must have broken it himself accidentally. Hearing this, the black-haired guy again called Chen boss and said he understood. Realizing that his mind control had also affected the black-haired guy's judgment, Chen told him to rest a bit on the boat first and said he would be there in a sec after he woke up the other 2. The black-haired guy followed his order. Chen knew that to raise his lizard, he needed a huge amount of food, and Zhang Changshu, who had a ship and often worked with rich people, could be a source of funds. Chen thought perhaps he could use his company to raise his lizard. He again used the mind control skill and controlled the other 2 thugs. The effect of Chen's mind control was amazing. There was some resistance when he tried to control Zhang Changshu, but it was very easy with the normal thugs. It was extra effective towards weak-minded people. A few minutes later, Chen went to the ship the black-haired guy had mentioned. A man wearing glasses, who also worked on the boat, asked the black-haired guy who Chen was. The black-haired guy told him that Chen was his boss, and they had to be respectful to him. Hearing this, all the men on the ship greeted Chen respectfully. Then the black-haired guy asked the glasses-wearing man to prepare the contract for transfer, stating, "This is my boss's ship now." Within a few minutes, the man with glasses prepared the transfer contract and handed it to Chen. Chen took the document and told the man with glasses to wait for him at the office the next day. He then told the black-haired guy that since he was injured, he should follow Chen to the hospital. The next day, early in the morning at sea, Chen continued his hunt with his sea iguana. The sea was a haven of limitless food, and the sea iguana hunted and ate many fish. Meanwhile, in the gym, Chen practiced his boxing techniques. As the sea iguana continued to hunt in the sea and gain evolution points, Chen also gained constitution points. However, Chen knew that he couldn't rely solely on his iguana clone to increase his power. He needed to train more as well. After 2 battles, Chen felt that his control over strength had improved. After the hunt, the sea iguana went into a mountain cave to also practice attacking. System messages informed Chen that absorbed energy had been digested during training, and he had gained 6 evolution points. That afternoon, Chen went to the office where the black-haired guy had transferred the ship to him. Chen was pleased because the transfer process was complete. He hadn't gone outside for a day, and had managed to gain more than 90 evolution points, and his sea iguana's body had also grown 20 centimeters. Chen decided that the next day, he would take his lizard to the deep sea. He was in a hurry because he now knew he wasn't the only person with superpowers in the world, and he needed to become stronger, especially now that there were unknown creatures in the depths of the ocean. The following day, the ship Chen acquired was fishing in the deep ocean. The 2 thugs who had been working with the black-haired man, Zhang, were on the ship. One guy checked the net and noted that there had been much fewer fish lately. They were basically catching nothing. The other guy suggested that perhaps there was a school of big fish down there, maybe sharks, as sharks move in groups and even killer whales have to be wary of them. So the smaller fish flee from the area. They were right, because right beneath their ship was a group of great white sharks roaming around. Chen's sea iguana, which was also following the ship to the deep sea, encountered these sharks. As soon as the sharks saw the sea iguana, they immediately attacked it. A great white shark took the sea iguana into its mouth and tried to bite it. But just as it tried to bite, the sea iguana raised its spikes, hurting the shark. The shark died, and seeing this, the others got scared and ran away. Then Chen's sea iguana started eating the dead shark's body, gaining 10 evolution points. Chen, connected to the sea iguana and sharing its senses, tasted the white shark's meat and thought it was too tender. After eating the shark, Chen received a system notification stating that his clone had met the evolution requirement and asked if he wanted to evolve the sea iguana. Chen was surprised to find that he could now choose to evolve. He confirmed the evolution, and the sea iguana came out of the sea to begin its transformation. Bolts of evolutionary lightning traveled into the sea iguana's body, causing it immense pain. Simultaneously, in the gym, Chen also felt the same pain and fell to the ground. He looked at his status window and saw that he had leveled up to level 1. His constitution was 130, and his spirit was 38. His beginner traits, external aura and chi perception, now had 280 experience points. His skills had also enhanced. They were all now intermediate. His 8 extremities. Boxing skill had 370 experience points. His stepping cloud jump had 290, and his tan leg technique had 370 points. Chen's clone had evolved into a scale-armored spiny lizard, a newborn ferocious beast, trying to evolve into a ferocious beast lord. It had evolved twice, and needed 5,000 points for the next evolution. It also acquired an ability named Water Affinity. Chen's body had become more muscular. He was happy because he had made a breakthrough, and his constitution was 13 times that of a normal person, reaching a level equivalent to great success in the dark realm in ancient martial arts. However, looking at his status window, Chen was slightly disappointed that his constitution hadn't doubled even after evolution, but this confirmed that it had doubled the last time, because his base stat was low. He looked into the sea iguana's details, and noticed that it now had water affinity, but he didn't know anything about it, and wondered what it meant to have water affinity. Chen then connected himself to the sea iguana, and was surprised to see its body size. The sea iguana's body had become much larger, its bone density a few times more than before, and its weight had reached 4 to 5 tons. Its power had doubled, and the claws were akin to steel, making it much more explosive than before. Following the ship, Chen noticed that the sea iguana could now swim up to 70 kilometers per hour, even faster than a large ship. The sea iguana made less noise and felt less resistance while swimming, which Chen thought must be because of the water affinity. The next day, Chen called the glasses-wearing man and asked him if anyone had been asking for treasures lately. The man told him that no one was asking right now. Hearing this, Chen said they would find the treasure themselves. He asked the glasses-wearing man how the research was going. The man told Chen that they had found a few locations with sunken ships, but without Boss Zhang, who could breathe underwater, they couldn't do anything. Chen told him not to worry about it. He could handle it. Chen looked into the database and found that the shallow water areas of routes used by Z country in the past and the major commercial waterways used by H and R countries had been mostly explored, but there were still a lot of priceless ships in the deep area. Chen took his sea iguana to a location 25 kilometers offshore in the Yellow Sea area. Connected to the sea iguana, he checked that he could now breathe deep underwater after this evolution, and his perception had also improved. He could feel the area up to 20 kilometers around him. He was confident that he was now ready to go after tidying everything up. Then he disconnected the connection with the sea iguana, looked at his phone, and saw that it was almost 11 o'clock. He decided to get some food to treat himself, thinking, isn't the point of raising a clone to enjoy life? To eat something, Chen went to Pedestrian Street, which was near his house. The meal was nice, but Chen was surprised to find that just one meal cost over 3,000. His savings were only 20,000. But he was not worried because he would soon take over Boss Zhang's company, so at least he got a taste of what it feels like to be rich. While returning home, he noticed something alarming. He saw a girl lying unconscious on the ground, and two men checking her. The scene didn't look right to Chen. As a righteous man of society, Chen raised his voice and asked them what they were looking at. Chen was confident because he knew that with his growing strength and his passion for martial arts awakening, as long as there was no real danger, he didn't mind stepping in. Seeing Chen step in, the thugs became very angry. One thug, in anger, asked Chen what he had just said. Another thug took out a knife and shouted, "Kid, get lost now, and I'll pretend I didn't see you." Chen didn't really want to fight them, and just wanted to scare them. He released his aura from his body. Chen's aura formed a beast form and looked at those thugs. Although it was not visible to human eyes, humans could feel its pressure. Both of the thugs got scared and didn't understand why it felt like they were being stared down by a beast. Scared, one thug suggested to the other to let's get out of here. But suddenly, the girl started laughing. She mocked the thugs, asking if they were actually scared and if they were really not real men. Seeing the woman provoking the thugs, Chen wondered if this woman was crazy. Hearing the woman's words, the thugs started to rethink their decision to run away. Looking at the woman, they thought that a woman like this doesn't come around every day, and they couldn't let her think they were weak. Immediately, both of the thugs charged at Chen. One thug said to the other that there was no reason to be afraid of Chen. He's just one guy. The other thug agreed, saying, "Yeah, let's get him. This guy's way too cocky." Chen was at a loss for words, seeing them charging at him. Everything was already resolved, but because of the girl, a fight ultimately broke out. Left with no choice, Chen got into his martial arts pose, and when the thugs were within his reach, he kicked them in the stomach, sending them flying. Chen barely used 10% of his strength. Otherwise, that kick could have reduced them to mush. He decided to let them off this time. They'd done wrong, but not enough to deserve death. Both of the thugs were very scared, and while running away, they called Chen a demon who came straight out of hell. After the thugs ran away, the girl stood up, laughing like a drunk person, and praised Chen, saying he was amazing and strong. Seeing her acting like this, Chen wondered if she was drugged. He immediately took out his smartphone and called the cops, informing them that there was a woman who seemed drunk outside Shengtang Bar. He told the cops that she looked a bit compromised. While Chen was on the call, the woman came near him and started teasing him in a lovely voice, asking Chen why he'd called the cops, if she wasn't pretty, and if he didn't want to take her home. Chen didn't reply to her and waited for the cops. A few minutes later, a group of cops showed up at the scene. One cop took the girl into their car, and another took Chen's statement. Chen told the cops that he was the one who called the police. He had come out for a midnight snack and saw her in that situation. He explained everything to the cops. After taking the statement, the cops left with the girl. Finally, after dealing with that, it was time for Chen to control the giant lizard and look for the sunken ship. Chen controlled the giant lizard and took it to check out the location that Glasses Guy had sent him. The information was accurate, and there really was a sunken ship there. Chen activated his energy sensing ability, but right now, his energy sense could only reach about 20 meters. Even with just that, after a few minutes of searching, he found a jackpot. On the shipwreck, he found solid gold bars. After finding the gold, Chen ordered Glasses Guy to steer the ship 3 kilometers east and drop a crate. Glasses Guy acknowledged and got to work. While he was preparing the crate, a guy called Glasses Guy and asked him if anyone else on the boss's crew, besides Zhang Changshou, could breathe underwater. Glasses Guy told him to stop asking questions and not to pry into the boss's secrets. Then, they dropped the crate, and Chen's sea iguana placed all the gold bars onto the crate. Chen was connected to the sea iguana, and after it placed all the gold bars on the crate, Chen asked Glasses Guy to start recovering the loot. After recovering the gold, Chen went to check the ship again. While exploring, he saw a piece of metal stuck on the wall of the ship. The sea iguana tried to cut that piece of metal, but it was too tough. Chen was surprised because his sea iguana's claws could easily tear through regular metal, but they barely left a mark on this. Chen thought this must be some kind of special alloy. It could be very valuable and decided to take it back for study. The sea iguana grabbed that huge rock and started to swim to the surface, but before it could, suddenly, a white snake-like fish attacked the sea iguana. It was a huge fish that Chen had never seen before. The fish grabbed the sea iguana with its sharp teeth, trying to kill it. Seeing it trying to ambush, Chen got angry, thinking, "Who do you think you are? Even though you're longer and bigger than me, when it comes to strength, offense, and defense, you're no match for me." What Chen said was right. In front of his sea iguana, that white fish was nothing. It killed the white fish and ate it like sashimi. A few hours later, Chen went to a beach. Looking at a huge rock, Chen thought, the reefs have been eroded by seawater for years, making them incredibly hard. The deserted beach at night is the perfect spot to test my strength. Thinking that, he punched the rock and saw that the force works both ways. But Chen's bone density is nearly 20 times that of an average human. Plus, with his external shield absorbing most of the impact, his hand only feels a bit sore, and that slight soreness, his body's recovery ability gets rid of it almost instantly. Chen continued to practice his boxing on that huge rock because, after this evolution, his physique had surpassed 200. Chen hadn't tested it yet, but knew that his punches should weigh at least 3,000 pounds, or 1.5 tons. With his outer energy boost and 8 extremities boxing technique, he could punch straight through a person with ease. To test his power, Chen punched that huge rock with full force, and with just one punch, he destroyed that rock. After training for so long, Chen was very exhausted and fell on the ground. He was training here because his punching bag at home isn't durable enough, and he can't train at the park either. With modern technology, if someone recorded him and uploaded it online, it'd be a huge problem if people found out he is extraordinary. It would only bring trouble, and so only on this empty beach can he train freely. Chen looked at his hands, and they were already healed. He could hardly believe how insane his recovery ability is. He stopped for less than a minute, and the scrapes on his hands were already healed. While he was busy checking his healing ability, the sea iguana returned to him with that piece of metal. Chen checked the metal, and saw that this irregular black ore shines with a metallic luster, but doesn't seem particularly special at first glance. When he tried to pick the metal up, he was surprised because the metal chunk weighs close to 200 pounds. It's heavy and extremely tough. Even the giant lizard's claws struggle to scratch it. Chen thought this is perfect for crafting a weapon, but he knows that with his current skills, making a suitable weapon would be difficult. So for now, he decided to focus on dealing with those gold bars. After training, Chen returned to the ship and asked Glasses Guy where the stuff was. Glasses Guy told him that it's all on the ship, and everything's been cleaned up. He led Chen to the captain's cabin where all the gold was. While Chen was checking the gold, Glasses Guy asked him how much money it is worth. He was amazed to see all that gold, saying he had never seen so many gold bars in his life. Chen told Glasses Guy that the gold bars don't have any markings, so they must have been privately minted, which means they can't sell them as antiques. The next day, after doing some research, Chen found that there is a shop in bustling downtown where he can sell the gold on the black market. Just as he entered, the receptionist welcomed him. Chen immediately asked her if they buy gold here. The receptionist told him they do, and asked him if he was selling rings or necklaces. Chen showed her the gold bars from his bag, and told her that he wanted to sell these. The receptionist was quite surprised, saying it was quite a lot of gold. She asked Chen to please come upstairs, and she would take him to meet their manager. When Chen went upstairs, he met the manager of the shop. He greeted, and asked Chen for his name, and how much gold he was selling. Chen introduced himself, then opened his bag and told the manager that he wanted to sell all this gold. Seeing all that gold, the manager told Chen that he would need to have his team check the quality of the gold. He asked Chen to please wait a moment. The manager's staff got to work and started checking the gold while Chen sat on the sofa waiting for them to complete. After a few minutes, the manager came back and told Chen that his gold bars weigh a total of 11,250 grams. Since they're not very pure and privately made, they were offering 400 yuan per gram. He asked Chen if this works for him. Chen knew that privately made gold is hard to sell, and the price the manager was offering was right, so he made the deal. After all the necessary processes, Chen got a message from his bank that his account had been credited with 4,500,000 yuan. Chen then left the shop, and while driving home, he saw many people returning from their college or work. Seeing them, Chen thought, people my age are still hustling through college, while I can make millions from just one adventure. This all felt too surreal to Chen, who has been poor all his life. After getting that much money, Chen decided that first, he should get a better car because his current car has such a low chassis, making it terrible on the bumpy coastal roads. He went directly to a luxury auto showroom. Glasses Guy also went with him, and both of them started looking for the perfect car that Chen could use daily. While they were checking cars, some new customers entered the showroom, a black-haired guy and his red-haired girlfriend. When Chen saw the girl, he immediately recognized her because she was his ex. Back then, Chen had spent a fortune trying to win her over. And what did she do? She chased after wealth and status, living it up with rich boys. When the red-haired girl saw Chen, she mocked him by telling her boyfriend that the guy over there is the loser who used to chase her. Hearing that, her boyfriend laughed at Chen and asked, "What's a broke college kid like you doing in a luxury car showroom?" Glasses Guy got very angry, asking them who they were calling broke. But Chen stopped Glasses Guy, telling him not to mind them. Seeing Glasses Guy angry, the black-haired boy said, "Are we not allowed to say the truth? Aren't you just a broke college student? This isn't a place you can afford, is it?" The red-haired girl told her boyfriend not to waste time on him, and let's go look at cars. She went and picked a red car, telling her boyfriend that she wanted that one. Her boyfriend got scared when he saw the expensive car. He tried to make excuses, saying, "Let me check it out for you." He was thinking that money is for impressing women. He only gets a few tens of thousands a month for spending. So how could he actually buy her a luxury car? On the other hand, Chen checked out a white car. Looking at the car, Chen thought, this car has a high chassis and can carry stuff. It should meet all my needs. He told the saleswoman that he wanted this car and would pay by card. The saleswoman told Chen that this car costs 2.38 million yuan and asked if he would be paying by card or in full. Chen told her that he would pay in full. The red-haired girl was shocked to hear that Chen was paying by card for that car and that the car was 2.38 million. But her boyfriend came over and told her that Chen was just pretending, saying there was no way he had 2.38 million in his account. Hearing that, the red-haired girl agreed, telling him that back then, Chen couldn't even afford anything but instant noodles for weeks just to chase her. They made fun of Chen, calling him a broke student who was pretending to buy a luxury car. The black-haired guy came over and told Chen that there was no need to put on a show because it'd be embarrassing if his card gets declined. Glasses Guy told the black-haired guy that it's none of his business. He asked the black-haired guy what he would do if Chen could afford that car. The black-haired guy told Glasses Guy that if Chen could afford it, he would call him Dad right there, but if Chen couldn't, then Chen would have to call him Dad. Glasses Guy immediately accepted the deal. The red-haired girl was laughing at Chen, thinking he was acting like he could really afford it but was just bluffing. After a few minutes, the salesgirl returned and handed Chen his card and the car key, saying, "The car is yours now." Chen thanked her, and then looked at his ex-girlfriend and her new boyfriend. The boyfriend was shocked to see that Chen actually bought the 2.38 million yuan car. The red-haired girl was also very confused, wondering how Chen had become so rich. Glasses Guy grabbed the boyfriend by the collar, asking, "Aren't you going to keep your word and call our boss Dad?" But then Chen intervened and told Glasses Guy not to waste time on people like this. While leaving with Chen, Glasses Guy told the two that his boss is too kind. If it were up to him, they wouldn't leave here today without saying Dad. The black-haired guy was very embarrassed, and the red-haired girl was speechless. When Chen drove off in his new luxury car, she chased after him, asking him to just hear her out, but Chen didn't stop. Seeing her chasing Chen's car, a saleswoman commented, she thought she found a rich guy but missed out on someone with real potential. Another saleswoman standing beside agreed, saying, "That's just how people are. They regret only after losing something." After leaving the showroom, Chen went to Cloud's Edge restaurant, the top spot for fine dining and service in N City. When he entered with his luxury car, all the waitresses greeted him with respect. He went to a private room where a waitress showed him the menu and asked what he would like to order. Chen looked at the menu and ordered a 5,888 yuan Boston lobster and a 7,888 yuan king crab, among many other items. When the food arrived, two girls came to personally feed Chen with their hands. All the food tasted more delicious when girls personally fed him. Chen was happy and said, "It's pricey, but worth it." Chen was thinking that after cooking so many meals for his lizard, it was time to enjoy the life of luxury himself. While he was enjoying his meal, he suddenly got a message on his phone. It was from his college advisor, informing the students that classes start in a week and they have to report to school on time. When Chen saw the message from the advisor, he remembered that he is still a sophomore. Chen then opened his status window. Now his constitution has reached 327, and his spirit is 49. He still has only one talent: mind control. His traits, external aura and chi perceptions experience points have also increased. His skills, 8 extremities, boxing, stepping cloud jump, and tan leg techniques power has increased too. His companion, armored spiked lizard's evolution points have reached 2,160, which needed 5,000 points to evolve a third time. Looking at the status window, Chen understands that once classes start, he will have less time, so he needs to earn more money fast to help his little lizard break through to the Shadow Realm. A few days later in the deep sea, swordfish, known as the fastest swimmers among fish, can reach speeds of up to 60 miles per hour, which is about 90 kilometers per hour. But right now, Chen's sea iguana is even faster than that. After racing with the swordfish, the sea iguana eats some delicious sailfish. Chen decides that once he is full, he will resume his treasure hunting. Just as he eats the sailfish, he gains 10 evolution points. Chen then gets back to treasure hunting. While searching, he finds out that by spreading out his senses, he can roughly detect things dozens of kilometers away. Unfortunately, even after scanning the seabed, he hasn't found any shipwrecks. Chen is disappointed because a few days have gone by with no results. He is seeing that the world is starting to change in strange ways. This makes him wonder if there are any secret supernatural organizations run by the government. Chen thinks that now that he has these abilities, he needs to be even more cautious in his actions. The next day, Chen went to a high-end office building in N City, after Zhang Changshu transferred the company. He hadn't visited it even once. Chen was impressed because this building is in the busiest area of N City. Zhang Changshu really went all out to make the company look good. Chen's new office name is Tianlin Marine Industries. Chen entered the building with a guy wearing glasses. The receptionist Nixin greeted the glasses guy as she didn't recognize Chen. The glasses guy asked Xiaoning to call everyone to the boss's office. Then, a few minutes later, all the girls working gathered in Chen's office. The glasses guy pointed at Chen and told all the girls that he is their company's boss, Mr. Chen. All the girls were very amazed to see their new boss, who is young, handsome, and super rich. Then the glasses guy started introducing people to Chen, pointing at Nixin. The glasses guy told Chen that she is their receptionist. Nixin greets Chen while blushing. As the introductions continued, a very attractive girl comes and gives Chen his coffee. The glasses guy introduced that girl as Chen's personal secretary, Su Lengyu. But Chen was busy reading documents, and told Su Lengyu to leave the coffee on the table. Chen was surprised to see that even though it's just a shell company, it's surprisingly well equipped, and it costs hundreds of thousands to maintain this company every month. Chen understands that he will need to search for more shipwreck treasures. Chen called the glasses guy, and told him to end the introductory meeting here, and have everyone get back to work. He ordered the glasses guy to head back to the ship, and keep an eye on things for now. The glasses guy said, "Okay," and left. Chen knows that the mind control effect is stable for now, but subconscious hypnosis isn't foolproof. He understands that he needs to make sure they don't interact too much with the outside world. Chen then took the coffee, and was enjoying it while looking out the window. But suddenly he got a system notification that he had gained 0.7 constitution points. Multiple notifications came at once. Looking at those messages, Chen thought, using clones to hunt while just lying around and getting stronger feels amazing. Chen then connected his mind to the sea iguana. Chen's sea iguana is hunting fish. Now it could control the internal energy, and is using it to hunt big fish easily. The fish Chen hunted this time was a barracuda. He knows that barracudas are typically only about 2 meters long, but this one he hunted is 4 or 5 meters long. Its speed is incredible, and its teeth are harder than steel. If not for Chen's strong external force field, he might have been hurt. The number of fierce, mutated fish in the ocean is increasing. When the sea iguana eats it, Chen finds that this meat is clearly different, and it provides much more energy. Just as the sea iguana eats the fish, Chen suddenly gets a system notification telling him that his clone has devoured with effort and gained 90 evolution points. Chen also gains 9 constitution points. As that message comes, Chen's internal energy activates itself, and his body becomes more muscular. Chen feels that something's off. He realizes that this fish definitely has something unusual about it. Now, his muscles and bones are enhancing, and the increase is 10 times what it used to be. After seeing its effect, Chen looks for that fish, but it's a shame that in such a vast ocean, that mutated fish seems to be the only one of its kind. On the other hand, at Tianlin Marine Industries office, receptionist Nixin asks Su Lengyu if she thinks the boss has a significant other. Su Lengyu smiles and asks Nixin why she is asking, and if she is planning to make a move on him. Another girl jokingly asks Nixine if she has become a fangirl again. Hearing that, Nixine starts blushing in embarrassment. While they were talking, someone asks them why they are not off work yet. It was Chen, who was leaving for home. Su Lingyu greets Chen with a smile, and tells him that they still have a few things to finish up. Well, with Chen's hearing, he could already pick up on their chatter while he was in the elevator. But to avoid awkwardness, he decides to just pretend he didn't hear anything. Chen smiled and told them that since everyone's working so hard, dinner's on him tonight. Hearing that, everyone gets very happy. Chen and all the girls went to Cloud's restaurant. Nixine was very impressed, seeing Chen's luxury vehicle worth over 2 million. All the girls were amazed to see such a lavish restaurant. A waitress comes to take their order. Chen ordered the food, and its total came to 50,000. Chen just swiped his card and paid for the food. All the girls were shocked to see Chen making a 50,000 payment as if it's nothing. They all wondered which rich family their boss is from, as he is just throwing money around. They all thought that if they follow a boss like this, there's definitely a bright future ahead for them. Chen told the girls that he has something to handle tonight, so after dinner, he will get them all a ride back. All the girls thanked him, and they enjoyed the food together. Then, after driving all the girls home, Chen went to a deserted rocky shore. The sea breeze was so soothing that it lifted Chen's spirits. He started practicing his boxing on the rocks. He hasn't stopped training during this time, and his physique is now over 20 times that of an average person. Now, Chen's punch strength exceeds 2 tons, and with the external force field, his strength doubles, making his punches close to 5 tons. But the stronger he gets, the harder it is to control. Chen's footing wasn't steady, and he lost control again and again. This makes him realize that he needs to keep training to get used to his strength. While he was training, he suddenly noticed a boat. He was surprised to see there are people in such a remote place so late at night. There were some thugs on the seacoast waiting to receive the boat. The receiving thug asked the thug from the boat if he didn't trust him yet, noting that they had done so many deals together. The thug from the boat replied that it's just that the heat is on right now, and he reminded the receiver that the rules are as usual. Money first, then the goods. Chen was spying on them while hiding behind a rock, understanding that it was a D-grade deal, but they were armed, so he needed to be cautious. The receiver's men checked the goods and told their boss that it was top quality. Hearing that, the receiver gave the thug from the boat the money and shook hands, saying it was a pleasure doing business with him. While leaving, the receiver thug told his men to be careful because things are tight lately. His men assured him not to worry, saying, "Boss, we only work through single channels. Even if something goes wrong with the goods, they won't be traceable." Those thugs thought no one could catch them. Little did they know that Chen was coming for them. Chen approached with lightning speed, punched one thug on the neck, and kicked another one at the same time. The thug's boss was surprised to see Chen, and he immediately took out his gun to shoot. But before he could aim or shoot, Chen reached the thug boss and punched him in the face, sending him flying. In 5 seconds, Chen knocked down all 3 of the thugs. All 3 of them died immediately after getting hit by Chen. But Chen didn't feel sorry because he knows that these people have lost all humanity, so taking them out is practically doing a public service. On the other hand, in the sea, the thugs who were leaving on the boat saw something approaching them at high speed. It was Chen's sea iguana who came at high speed and hit the thug's boat from below. In front of the sea iguana's strength, the boat didn't last long and broke into 2. All the thugs were very shocked. They didn't understand what was going on. Did they run into something big? When the ship broke down, all the thugs fell into the sea. When they fell in, they saw Chen's sea iguana, which was 2 meters long and looked like some sea monster. Seeing that, all the thugs got scared and started running towards the coast shouting, "There's a monster! Somebody help!" One by one, Chen's sea iguana started hunting those thugs who were running away. Realizing that there was no way they could run away, a thug took out his gun saying, "Not like we can run away anyway. Let's go all out. I don't believe you can dodge a bullet." He aimed at the sea iguana and shot, but the bullet just bounced back after hitting the sea iguana. Seeing that, those thugs got even more scared, and before they could do anything, Chen's sea iguana attacked them. In a few seconds, it killed all the thugs running away from him. After killing them all, the sea iguana grabbed the suitcase in its mouth that those thugs got from the receiver thugs and returned. Sometime later, in Chen's room, Chen opened the suitcase, and it was filled with money. 1 stack of bills is 10 grand. 300 stacks means 3 million. Looking at all that money, Chen thought, cash laid out in front of you feels so much more real than numbers on a bank card. The scene then shifts to the next morning at a cafe. Chen went to the cafe with his secretary, Su Lingyu. All the men in the cafe were amazed to see a stunning woman like Su Lingyu, who gives off a cold, untouchable vibe. She was every man's dream girl, but Su Lingyu didn't even glance at those men, and went to Chen with some papers, asking, "Boss, please sign this." Hearing this, everyone became very jealous, wondering, is that her boss? He looks so young. Chen then stood up and said in a serious tone, "Let's go back to the company. Notify everyone. Meeting time." When people saw Chen's demeanor, they thought, this young man feels as unmovable as a mountain. His presence is terrifying. Later, at the meeting room, Chen pointed at a graph and told his workers to handle every little detail well, and they would be the company's heroes. As long as the company's performance keeps going up, by year's end, everyone gets a big bonus, he stated. While Chen was talking, he suddenly received a voicemail from his school telling him that today was the last day to register for school, and he was the only one left in his class. Hearing the voicemail, Chen sent a sorry message to his teacher saying he would head over right now. Chen turned to leave while telling everyone that he needed to go register at school, and since there wasn't much to do today, everyone could leave work early. He also instructed that while he was not there, Su Lengyu would handle all company matters. Niaxin asked in shock, "The boss is still a student?" Another girl standing beside said, "Boss seems so composed. I thought he was some rich heir raised with perfect manners." The scene then shifts to N University campus. When Chen arrived there in his new luxury car, everyone was shocked, wondering if Chen was actually a rich kid. A guy recognized Chen's car and told other students that his car was worth over 2 million. Suddenly, this news started circulating on N University's campus forum. A video of Chen was posted on the forum saying, on the last day of new student registration, a tall, rich, handsome guy shows up in a car worth over 2 million. Many people commented on the post. A student from Chen's class recognized him and commented, "Isn't that Chen Chu? He got so handsome over the summer." Another guy commented saying, "Who cares about how handsome he is? Driving a car worth 2 million? His family must be billionaires." A yellow-haired girl in very revealing clothes was looking at the university's campus forum, and when she saw Chen's photo she thought, he looks so familiar, especially his eyes, black and white like stars, radiating a sharp brilliance. While reading the comments on Chen's post, she saw a comment saying, "He's not a freshman, he's a sophomore in the finance department. He's starting his junior year now. His name's Chen Chu." The yellow-haired girl was surprised to hear that Chen is in the finance department, and is in the same year as her. After completing his registration, Chen was heading home, thinking that his body and strength were improving quickly, but he only knew 8 extremities, cloud steps, and tan leg technique. He realized that he needed to learn new skills to better control and use his current power. While walking, he saw some students practicing martial arts. Seeing them, Chen thought, someone like that, I could squash them with a single slap. Chen understands that those fancy moves are not for him. If he wants control, he just has to keep training himself. So, after leaving the school, Chen didn't go home, but went to Longteng Steel Company. He told the receptionist there that he wanted to custom order some steel, about 100 tons or more. Hearing that, the receptionist asked him to please follow her to the VIP lounge, and she would get in touch with their sales manager. Chen went to the VIP lounge, and after waiting for a few minutes, the manager came. The manager greeted Chen and asked him what kind of steel he would like to order. Chen told the manager that he wanted a steel pillar, 2 meters in diameter and 5 meters tall, and a few steel blocks, weighing 1, 5, 10, and 20 tons each. Hearing that, the manager calculated and told Chen that based on his requirements, the total weight was about 200 tons, and the estimated cost was around 700,000, but the final price would depend on the finished product. Chen told the manager that it was fine, and asked him to proceed with signing the contract. The scene then shifts to the next morning, at Zhang Changshuo's makeshift dock. The glasses guy showed Chen a large building, and told him that this whole area was Chen's warehouse. Seeing that, Chen praised the glasses guy, and told him to head back, as he wanted to look around by himself. Glasses guy said yes, and left. Then, while Chen was looking around, he suddenly got a notification saying his clone had gained 8 evolution points through diligent eating, resulting in 0.8 constitution points. Seeing those messages, Chen thought that there are stages like Ming, Dark, Transformation, and Beyond Transformation, and he hadn't even reached the transformation stage yet. He still had a long way to go. He looked in the warehouse and thought that once the steel pillar was set up in the warehouse, it would be his training ground. The maximum evolution points per day are 100, so Chen needed at least 1 more day to evolve his sea iguana. Thinking that, Chen said, compared to the giant lizard's progress, my body is still way too slow. On the other hand, police arrived at the scene where Chen killed those thugs last night. A policeman recognized the receiver thug as Luo Hao, known as Big Boss Luo in the underworld, who owns a bar and commands over a dozen lackeys. His right hand was almost severed by a blunt weapon wielded with incredible force, barely hanging by a thread of skin. Lying beside Luo Hao was Iron Lao Chi, whose chest was hit with immense force, crushing his organs and killing him on the spot. The police concluded that all three men were killed within a minute by the same person. They understood that the strength and speed of this individual were insane. They all were wondering who could pull off something like this. While the police captain was checking the bodies on the seacoast, he suddenly got a wireless message telling him that they had found another body at sea. At the same time, in Tianlin Maritime Company, Chen was taking a rest on the massage chair. Secretary Su Lengyu came in and told Chen that the company has no work every day and everyone's just playing around. She asked Chen if they shouldn't hand out some flyers or something. Chen told her there was no need, saying, "Business is like fishing, wait for the fish to bite." Hearing Chen's words, Su Lengyu thought, "Even though you're a rich kid, boss, won't we go bankrupt like this? You want to wait for the fish to bite, but if we don't advertise, how will anyone come to us?" While she was thinking that, suddenly Niaxin came into Chen's office and said, "Boss, someone's here to see you. They say they've got a business deal to discuss." Hearing Niaxin, Su Lengyu was shocked. She could not believe that someone really did come to deliver money after all. After a few minutes, Niaxin led a man in a white suit into the meeting room. As the man entered, he asked for Zhang Lauda, the previous boss of the company. Chen informed the man in the white suit that Zhang Lauda and his people were now under his leadership. Hearing this, the man complimented Chen on managing to get Zhang Lauda on his side. The man then introduced himself as Wang Tianhua. Chen called him Boss Wang and invited him to sit down and talk. Once they were all seated, Su Lengyu offered, "Boss, I'll make some tea for you all." Chen nodded his approval, and then they got down to business. Wang revealed to Chen that he had a centuries-old sunken ship worth at least tens of millions. He asked Chen what he thought, and if he could make it happen. Confidently, Chen questioned Wang about how he planned to split the profits once they recovered the goods. Wang stated that since he provided the map, he would take 70%, and Chen would get 30%, as that was the going rate even with international teams. Upon hearing this, Chen suggested Wang find an international team instead. Surprised but not angered, Wang asked Chen for his suggestion. Chen firmly proposed a 50-50 split, adding, "Otherwise, forget it." Wang, knowing that private salvage was nearly impossible under strict current laws, and that Chen was his only shot, paused to think. Finally, he turned to Chen and asked if he was sure he could manage the recovery. Chen, with confidence, assured him, "With guys like Zhang Lauda under me, if you're not reassured, you can come along and see for yourself." Wang agreed, and extended his hand. 50-50 it is then. Pleasure working with you." Chen shook his hand and responded, "The pleasure is mine." Meanwhile, at police headquarters, the police captain was investigating bodies found in the sea and its coastal area. He was shocked to see such exaggerated claw marks on the corpses, and couldn't fathom what kind of creature could have claws that big. He logged into the confidential internal dialogue system, having already reported the multiple deaths suspected to be caused by a beast attack to his superiors. He also attached a confidential file, and finally received a reply saying professionals would investigate the case. Back at Chen's company, the huge iron pillar Chen had ordered arrived. Su Lengyu, surprised by the size of the pillar, asked Chen what it was for. Chen explained that it was a sea-calming pillar, buried at the pier to stabilize the waters and hold back the sea dragon kings. Su Lengyu was amazed at her boss's knowledge. After paying for the iron pillar, Chen checked his account balance, which was only 321,800. Seeing his balance, Chen thought to himself, "Money just flies away. Now I'm down to this little." Sometime later, Chen went to Bixi Garden Complex, where his secretary, Su Lengyu, lived. She came out of the car and said, "Boss, sorry to trouble you again. Why don't you come upstairs for some water?" It was a signal from her, but Chen declined, mentioning he had something else to do soon, and then he left. When Chen left, Su Lengyu felt very embarrassed, thinking about how bold her invitation had been. She became even more embarrassed when she suddenly remembered that her underwear was still lying around on the sofa. Meanwhile, the reason Chen declined Su Lengyu's invitation was that at dinner earlier, he had accidentally snapped his chopsticks. This incident made him realize that he still needed to practice controlling his strength. So, after leaving Su Lengyu, Chen didn't directly return to his home but went to the seacoast instead. There, he practiced his boxing by punching rocks again. While practicing on the rocks, Chen realized that he needed to achieve perfect mastery to fully utilize his powers. He then released his internal energy, and saw that his aura shield could now cover up to 30 meters. He could sense every movement of the wind and grass around him. 3 days later, in the deep sea, Chen was connected to his sea iguana, which was eating a red-eyed fish. The red-eyed fish are mutated, and when the sea iguana ate it, it gained 210 evolution points and 21 constitution points. After it finished eating, it followed Wang Tianhua's ship. When Chen noticed that Wang's ship was slowing down, he understood that they must be close. When the ship stopped completely, Chen called out, "Boss Wang, my other crew has already arrived. When do we start?" Wang, impressed by Chen's quick work, asked Chen to let him prepare, saying they would begin tonight. Chen agreed and returned to his training. After hard work, he gained 15 aura control experience, and with aura enhancement, his strength multiplied. At night, Wang called Chen, saying he didn't see Chen's other crew yet. Chen told Wang that they were already underwater and asked him to just give the location. Wang was surprised and said, "That's impressive," then told Chen that the location was 200 meters to the left of his ship, about 700 to 800 meters deep. After hearing the location, Chen connected himself with the sea iguana and went to that location. But in that depth, even with the sea iguana's constitution, the water pressure made Chen uncomfortable. Upon arrival at the location, he saw that there was nothing there. Chen called Wang and told him, 800 meters deep, within a 200-meter radius, and there's nothing. Wang was surprised to hear that Chen had already searched the area, as it was just too fast. Wang could not understand how it was possible that Chen scanned 700 to 800 meters deep in just 20 minutes. Wang's secretary checked on his laptop and told Wang that after hundreds of years, the location had likely shifted. He told his boss to try moving about a kilometer east. Wang apologized and asked Chen if he could check about a kilometer east. Upon hearing that, Chen led his sea iguana to the new location. When he reached the new location, Chen activated his external energy and scanned the whole area. This new location was correct. There really was a centuries-old sunken ship. Chen smiled, seeing the ship because he was going to get rich. He loaded the loot from that ship onto the ladder, and Wang's men pulled it out. Wang's secretary checked and told Wang that 8 pieces were broken and 3 were intact, estimating the value at about 30 million, but if sold privately, they could get another 20 million. Wang, who was on the call with Chen, smiled hearing that and said, "Did you hear that, buddy? That's about the situation." Chen told Wang that the rest was up to him. He just needed to collect the money. Then, a few days later, Wang returned with the money. He told Chen that the loot totaled over 23 million. They each got 11.5 million. He asked Chen to count it if he would like. Chen told him there was no need. He trusted him. Hearing that, Wang laughed, calling Chen a straightforward guy. He told Chen that they would contact him next time they had info on a sunken ship. Looking at all that money, Chen thought, now my money problem is solved, but my strength is still too weak. I need to train to the point where sniper bullets and grenades won't affect me before I can try riskier moves. The next day at Tianlan Marine Industries, when Chen arrived at the office, Niaxin told him that someone had submitted a resume yesterday. They claimed they could bring 200 fishing enthusiasts every month for a 50,000 monthly salary. Chen asked to see it, and Niaxin handed him the resume highlights. Chen saw that the new guy was a member of the Fishing Association and knew many insiders in the field. When Chen saw that, he immediately realized it was a scam and told Niaxin to reject it because he was a scammer. Niaxin then asked him why he hadn't been to the office these past few days. Chen told her that he had a big project and made a few million casually. Hearing that, Niaxin was amazed and said, "Boss, you're amazing." Chen smiled and reminded Niaxin that he had said he would treat all of them after this project, so tonight, he would take her to Yunshang Tianwai to relax. Hearing that, Niaxin jumped in happiness. Another girl standing behind thought, "Working here is awesome. Easy work, good pay, and the boss always treats us. Not like my friend's company, where the manager even tried to hit on her." She wondered if she would agree or not if the boss tried to hit on her. That night, Chen took all of them to Yunshang Tianwai restaurant. While eating, Niaxin told Chen she didn't know sea fishing was so profitable. Just a few days of fishing trips, and it's millions. Chen told her that he got lucky and caught a bluefin tuna, one fish worth hundreds of thousands. While Chen was relaxing with the girls, a man approached him and asked if he was Mr. Chen, the owner of Tianlan Marine Industries. The man greeted Chen and introduced himself as Li Tianrui, the deputy general manager of Tianhong Group, and also a friend of Wang Tianhua. Chen was a little surprised by his sudden approach. Manager Li said that he wanted to go fishing in the sea, and asked Chen if he was interested in cooperating. Chen told Manager Li that as long as it's profitable, he is interested. He asked Manager Li to come to his company tomorrow, and they would talk there. Su Lingyu gave Manager Li a card, saying, "This is our boss's business card." Manager Li took the card and told Chen that he would see them tomorrow. Looking at Manager Li, a girl commented that she didn't expect him to be so young. Niaxin asked her if this group is really big. That girl told Niaxin that their chairman is worth tens of billions, even richer than the richest man in N City. And Manager Lee has the same surname as Tianhong's chairman. Maybe he's a relative. Niaxin was amazed to hear that Manager Lee's family has tens of billions. Su Lingyu was also amazed because she couldn't imagine running into the son of the richest man over a meal in all her life. During their conversations, Chen realized that even the richest man's son is interested in shipwrecks. That same night, while Chen was searching the deep sea connected to his sea iguana, he found a huge fish. Chen was surprised by the coincidence. He was just telling Niaxin about a fish worth over 10 million, and now he had stumbled onto this. And not just one, but two of them. A few minutes later, Chen's sea iguana ate one fish and took the other one to the warehouse. Chen and his giant sea iguana looked at the fish and thought, a fish worth over 10 million, and its meat doesn't even taste that special. But I know this isn't just a fish. It's practically money swimming in water. Now I just need to find a buyer and sell it off. The next day, while Chen was training his boxing while holding the 2-ton dumbbells, he suddenly got a call from Su Lingyu. She told Chen that young Master Li had been waiting for him at the office for quite a while. Chen said all right and told her that he would head over now. A few minutes later, Chen arrived at Tianlan Marine Company. When the meeting started, Manager Li told Chen he had got the exact location of a shipwreck. Chen asked Manager Li that with the wealth of Tianhong Group, is young Master Li also interested in shipwrecks? Manager Li told Chen that no one ever thinks they have too much money. Then, after discussing the location and loot price, Chen told Manager Li they would split it 50-50 after the goods arrive. Manager Li agreed, saying it's no problem. From the look on Manager Li's face and how easily he agreed, Chen immediately realized that he's not just after the treasure on board, but decided not to say anything. Chen changed the topic and asked Manager Li if he knew anyone who runs high-end seafood restaurants because he had got a 4-meter bluefin tuna. Hearing that, Manager Li was impressed that even bluefin tuna was within Chen's reach. Manager Li took out his phone and told Chen that actually, he did know someone who owns a seafood restaurant. He asked Chen to let's grab lunch from there, and he will also introduce them. Then, after meeting with the seafood restaurant owner, Chen went to his warehouse. The restaurant owner came out of the car and ran into the warehouse to check the fish. Chen smiled and asked him not to rush, saying, "The fish is right there. It's not going anywhere." A worker checks the fish and told the restaurant owner that the fish's quality is perfect. Every aspect meets A-grade standards. Looking at the fish, the restaurant owner said, "Mr. Chen, this fish of yours is truly top-notch. We're all friends here, so how about a flat price of 7 million? What do you think?" Chen made the deal because he thinks the price is right. Chen's secretary, Su Lingyu, was amazed to see that a single fish sold for a whopping 7 million. It was quite unbelievable for her. Then, after getting the money, Chen went to Marriott International. He went there with Su Lingyu, telling her that since they had a great haul today, it's time to splurge a little. Su Lingyu was amazed to see the Marriott International shopping mall because it's a gathering place for the world's top luxury brands. Chen bought many items from that mall. Seeing him, Su Lingyu thought, this is the epitome of indulgence. The boss's money comes way too easily. But the mall staff were very happy, seeing Chen thinking a big spender has arrived. After shopping, Chen went to his dock warehouse. Chen moved all the items he bought into the warehouse. Su Lingyu was amazed seeing how much he has spent. Chen's watch alone is worth 2 million, and he bought her so many luxury goods, probably over 2 million as well. When they went inside, Chen told Su Lingyu that he wanted to buy a villa. It needs to be big and spacious. It's fine if it's in a quieter location because he prefers peace and quiet, and for the price, something around 30 million should do. He asked her to keep an eye out for him. Su Lingyu said okay, and returned home. After she returned, Chen connected himself to the sea iguana, and just as he connected, he saw 2 massive submarines passing by. Upon seeing those submarines, Chen turned around in disappointment, thinking, I'm not strong enough. Otherwise, I would tear those 2 submarines apart. While roaming around, Chen saw a sea cave in the deep sea, and also noticed some huge claw marks at the entrance of the cave. Chen immediately realized that there was something dangerous down below, and decided to leave it untouched, thinking there was no need to take unnecessary risks. The creature inside the sea cave, a giant crab, noticed Chen's sea iguana, and came out of the cave and attacked it. Seeing it attacking, Chen moved with speed to dodge, telling it not to think he was easy to mess with. Chen dodged the sea crab's attack, but after seeing its attack power, he realized it was much stronger than the mutated ribbonfish. The crab started attacking the sea iguana with all its claws, but the sea iguana moved very fast and dodged every attack. The force that the monster unleashed was over 10 tons. Now it was Chen's turn to attack. He dodged all the crab's claws, and while using his internal energy with full force, hit the crab's main body. The crab died immediately after getting hit. Looking at its huge body, Chen thought, "This big guy can't be finished in one go, and I have to absorb it slowly." The sea iguana started eating the giant crab, so Chen disconnected the connection and started looking for reports on unusual marine phenomena in recent years. He was concerned after seeing giant ribbonfish, giant triggerfish, and now a giant crab. He was certain that the world might really be changing. While searching, he found a post saying that an M-country nuclear submarine, which had vanished at a depth of 600 meters in the Pacific, was reported to be attacked by an unknown giant sea creature. When he searched more, he found another similar case where a nuclear submarine in the Arctic collided with an underwater iceberg, killing all 127 crew members. Looking at those cases, Chen found out that all of this had happened within the past 2 years, and it seems the deeper they go, the stronger these unknown creatures become. While Chen was looking into the changing world information, his sea iguana continued eating the giant crab. A system notification came telling him that he had gained 290 evolution points and 29 base body stats. After eating, Chen noticed that his sea iguana's body had now grown to 18 meters. Not only that, Chen's physical stats had also increased by over 100 points. His bone structure, muscle strength, and everything had reached an entirely new level. Now, when he practiced his boxing on the iron pillar, he found that even punching an iron pole didn't hurt anymore. Looking at his newfound power and strong body, Chen realized that now not even a handgun could do more than scratch his skin, and with his natural armor and reaction speed, ordinary bullets wouldn't even leave a dent on him. The next day, Chen went to the Manhwa bookstore to get some books. He thought that since the world isn't as simple as he had thought, learning and reading are always the right choices. While Chen was reading books, a girl noticed him and asked her friend to look at how handsome he is. Her friend suggested she go ask for his contact info, but she was shy and didn't dare approach Chen. Later, Chen returned home and took out 2 martial arts books that his father had given him, telling him that only through continuous learning could he keep improving. He went to his warehouse and started practicing those techniques. After practicing for a while, Chen realized that Bajiquan and Xingyiquan seem simple, but mastering them is no easy task. While he was practicing, he suddenly received a call from Manager Li. When Chen picked up the call, Manager Li told him that they had arrived. Chen said all right, and told Manager Li to send him his location, and his people would be underwater in half a day. A little later, Chen connected his mind to his sea iguana and went to the location Manager Li gave him. When he arrived, he saw gold in a box. Chen called and told Manager Li that they had found gold and some shattered porcelain. When Manager Li heard that, he asked Chen if they saw a special box. He told Chen that as long as he could find that box, everything else on the shipwreck was his. Chen said all right and told Manager Li he would ask around. Chen first took the gold, as just that gold alone was worth over 20 million. As for the special box, after looking around for a few minutes, Chen also found a small box, which looked completely different from the others. But when Chen looked inside that box, there was just a pile of black mud. Chen had no idea what Manager Li wanted with it, but he handed it over to Manager Li. With full excitement, Manager Li opened the box, but only mud was inside it. Seeing that, Manager Li's jaw dropped, and he started crying over his elixirs, which were supposed to be inside that box. On the other hand, the police had found some more dead bodies near the sea coast. After checking the dead bodies, a policeman told the deputy chief that just like the people who died earlier, all their blood was gone, their muscles dried up like jerky, but the time of death was only about 10 hours ago. The deputy chief decided to wait for the higher-ups to come down and investigate. He was slightly suspicious because all the victims were thugs, with no family ties, but physically strong. The deputy chief ordered the policeman to write up a report later and shut down all entertainment venues in the city. But even after doing all that, later that night, some men died, and all their blood was sucked dry like all the other victims. The deputy chief was shocked to find that some more people had died. He could not understand how 4 more people died when everything was clearly shut down. Days passed, and this continued happening. On the other hand, Chen continued his training in the warehouse. After a few days of training, he made great progress in both Bajiquan and Xingyiquan. After Chen learned those techniques, he received a system notification saying, "You have comprehended a new martial art technique. Please name it." Chen decided to call it Explosive Fist, because it combines Bajiquan's 8 extreme stance and Xingyiquan's half-step Bengquan. It's 1 step, 1 explosion. Fists like cannonballs. Meanwhile, a fishing boat was deep-sea fishing. The owner of the ship was very happy because he finally caught the fish after chasing the school for so long. However, he was very cautious because the investment this time was huge, and just 1 fishing net costs millions, so he couldn't afford any mistakes. Suddenly, alarms started ringing. A worker told the owner that there was a hole in the middle of the net, and the fish were escaping. Shocked to hear that, the owner asked the worker to pull the net up quickly. A few minutes later, the worker told the owner that their detector shows nothing, but the net wouldn't budge. The reason the net had a hole and would not budge was because Chen's sea iguana was inside it. With a single bite, the sea iguana takes dozens of fish at once. Chen was connected to the sea iguana and was very satisfied with this delivered feast. He was not worried at all because he knows that with his water affinity, those sonar detectors can't detect him at all. After eating hundreds of fishes, Chen said, "It's time to head home now that I'm full." The sea iguana left, and the owner retrieved the fishing net, but was shocked to see a huge hole in his fishing net. He started crying, wondering why all his fishing nets are broken and his fish are gone. He could not understand what kind of monster or divine being could be behind this. That same evening, while Chen was resting on the dockside, he got a message call from Manager Lee. When Chen picked up the call, Manager Lee told Chen that he is heading back to N City, and to show his gratitude, he will take Chen to a great place tonight. Chen laughs and said, "If young Master Lee invites me, I've got to check it out." Then at night, Chen went to Mengluo Elegant Pavilion with Manager Lee. A very beautiful girl in traditional Chinese clothes welcomed them to the Mengluo Elegant Pavilion. Manager Lee enters and asks the girl if anyone booked the Yunxiao Hall. The girl smiles and told Manager Lee that it's always reserved for him. The Yunxiao Hall he was speaking about was a very luxurious hall where many beauties were present to serve Chen and Manager Lee. Some were dancing for them, and some were standing beside to fulfill all their needs. Seeing the atmosphere of the Yunxiao Hall, Chen thought, no wonder the king neglects his duties. There's a reason. Places like this are perfect for soaking in the atmosphere. Then after indulging, Chen left the Mengluo Elegant Pavilion and went home in his car, but with high speed. Someone was following him. Chen's internal energy activated, and with that, Chen realized that something was following him. The person's aura was making him uncomfortable. It felt like the night Chen was being stalked by that giant lizard. Chen smiles, wondering if it's a monster or a ghost. This was very exciting for Chen, as it had been a while since Chen stretched his legs. But while Chen was driving, suddenly a couple driving in their luxury car called and asked Chen if he wanted to spar. Seeing them, Chen got annoyed because if there were many people, maybe the one following Chen might stop. So, to leave them behind, Chen sped up his car and then made a scary turn towards the seacoast. Seeing Chen's insane turn, the couple stopped their car, wondering if he was trying to kill himself. Meanwhile, after leaving that couple behind, Chen still didn't slow down and continued towards the seacoast. At Chen's speed, even the fastest car couldn't keep up, but Chen was surprised to see that the one following him was still sticking close. This made him realize that it's no weakling. When Chen reached a secluded part of the seaside, he stopped the car. Exiting the car, Chen called out to the person following him saying, "I'm not a bad guy. You can come out." Hearing this, a girl hiding behind a tree stepped out. She was the same girl who had welcomed Chen and Manager Lee into the hotel. She smiled and said, "What a funny way to talk, big brother. I was just bathing by the sea, and someone took my clothes. Could you grab me something to wear?" Hearing that, Chen responded, "You want clothes? I'll get some for you right now." Saying that, he charged towards the girl, and using his full power he punched her in the face. But what Chen saw behind the tree shocked him. The girl turned into fog, and when the fog cleared, a very scary-looking female monster appeared. After seeing Chen's strong and rich life force, she immediately attacked him, saying, "I really want to eat you." Surprised by the sudden attack, Chen backed off and asked the monster what she was. The monster told Chen that it was human too, but just a more perfect version. She laughed and told Chen that eating him was like eating hundreds of healthy, energetic people, enough to help her complete the first stage of evolution. This monster could also use internal energy like Chen, and attacked him with it, but Chen jumped and dodged all her attacks. He then moved very fast and got behind the monster saying, "You want to eat me? Let's see if you've got what it takes." The monster was surprised by Chen's speed, but had no idea what was coming next. To finish her in one go, Chen used his internal energy and punched her with full power. Chen's punch destroyed the ground around them and sent the monster flying. The monster fell on the ground and was heavily injured. She could not understand how it was possible because Chen clearly didn't have the aura of an awakened being. After getting heavily injured, the monster started hiding in the trees, but it was futile because Chen began destroying all the trees. When Chen destroyed the trees, the monster moved into the rocks. Chen was surprised to see that this monster could fuse with tree trunks and stones. However, every time Chen attacked its attachments, its aura weakened. He understood it was the monster's weakness and used that to his advantage. After a few minutes of fighting, the monster finally fell to the ground, clinging to its last breath. Chen told the monster that fusing with tree trunks and rocks was a nice survival skill, but unfortunately, it had run into him. He then asked her to answer a few questions for him, and he would grant her a quick death. The monster laughed and asked Chen if she looked like someone who was afraid of dying. She looked at the sky and said, "What beautiful moonlight. Too bad I won't see it again, but it's fine. I've already avenged myself." She told Chen that if she had just one more month, she could have completed her shadow transformation. By then, not even a war god would scare her, but instead, she ran into someone like him in a plain old city. After saying all this, the monster's body started to turn into dust and disappeared. Just as she died, Chen received a system notification telling him that he had killed a corruptor and gained 10 attribute points. Chen was confused to see the notification and wondered what this corruptor was and why he was given attribute points. Another system notification came telling Chen that attribute points could enhance skills, strengthen weapons, and improve him. They could also unlock special abilities like lightning, ice, fire, and many more. Looking at that message, Chen thought that since he already had extraordinary powers, and soon the giant lizard would too, he smiled, understanding that with the use of these attribute points, his sea iguana could turn into a real-life Godzilla. Chen then left the seaside and went to his warehouse, where he started searching for information related to Corruptor and Awakener on his computer. However, his search found no relevant information. Realizing that the authorities had blocked these details, he thought, "It's fine. I'm too weak now. But when I become stronger, I will explore that world again. Maybe after my physique goes above 10,000, then no one could stop me." While he was thinking this, suddenly a system notification came asking Chen to please choose an element to enhance. He could choose from wind, fire, water, earth, lightning, light, or dark, and as his current physique was insufficient, only a basic element could be strengthened. Seeing that notification, Chen immediately chose lightning to enhance as he had decided beforehand. When Chen used attribute points to enhance his extraordinary abilities, he acquired lightning mastery and 1 mental stat. After acquiring the lightning mastery, Chen immediately checked it, but could only create small thunder between his fingers. It was a beginner version of lightning powers, but even with that, Chen was happy and took it. Chen immediately checked his status window. Currently, he is level 1 with 465 physique and 57 mental control points. As techniques, he has external chi at the beginner level, chi sense also at the beginner level. As skills, he has collapsing punch at beginner level, sky step at intermediate level, spring kick also at intermediate level. As abilities, he has lightning mastery at beginner level. Now he has 0 attribute points. He has 1 clone named Scaled Thorn Lizard, which has evolved 2 times. It is already a mature beast, and aims to become a beast lord. It needs 5,000 points for the next evolution, and currently has 3,190 points. Its abilities are Observation Haki, Armament Haki, and its talents are Water Affinity and Lightning Mastery. Seeing the status window, Chen was surprised to see that even Lightning Mastery has experience points and can be improved through training. After acquiring the Lightning attribute, he connected with his sea iguana. While looking around, he saw a huge fish. The sea iguana immediately attacked the fish, and its attack included some lightning power. The fish, hit by the sea iguana's lightning attack, died instantly. It was another mutated sea beast, no less threatening than the giant spider from last time. When the sea iguana ate the fish, it gained 980 evolution points. Chen was surprised to see that even the giant lizard now has lightning mastery, and it's stronger than his own. Meanwhile, at N City Airport, the police deputy chief was there to receive 2 agents from the Special Affairs Bureau. One man in a black suit introduced himself as Huang Junfeng and thanked the deputy chief in advance for his cooperation. The second man, in a white suit, introduced himself as Nangong Jian, lead investigator for Case 907, and asked the deputy chief to show them the body. The deputy chief then took the 2 men to the mortuary to show them the dead body. Pointing at the body, he told them that this person died last night, the only corpse found. For 4 days before this, 4 people mysteriously died each night. The man in the black suit used some spiritual aura, and when he pointed it at the dead body, the monster's aura that had killed the man appeared. Seeing the spiritual aura and the monster's aura, the deputy chief was shocked, but before they could gather any more information, the monster's aura disappeared. The man in the white suit told the other that the killer is dead, which surprised the man in the black suit. At the same time, Chen was at his warehouse, practicing his techniques. He was scared because his power grew too fast, and he couldn't control it. Just tonight, when he dropped off Nixine, she asked him if he wanted to come upstairs for tea. Chen declined, saying he had plans. He didn't dare visit Nixie's house because he was scared he would break her couch just by sitting on it. He also couldn't get too close to her because he was afraid he might accidentally crush her bones. After practicing and collecting his thoughts, the next day, Chen went to buy a villa. A broker showed Chen the villa and told him that the main building is 560 square meters, with a 70 square meter front yard, a 200 square meter backyard, and an 80 square meter pool hall. The broker told Chen that the buyer paid in full, including furniture worth over $1 million, for a total price of $34 million. Chen offered $25 million, saying he would buy it outright. Just as he took out his phone to transfer the money, he suddenly received a call asking for help, saying they saw a monster, and then the call ended. Chen was surprised to hear that. Meanwhile, the two special agents were on the rooftop of a building looking at the city. The man in the black suit told the man in the white suit that there has been no unusual activity since last night. The corruptor is truly dead, but he thinks it's strange because the corruptor was in a semi-ethereal state. A being like that isn't something normal people could handle. He asked the man in the white suit if they should stay and investigate, suggesting they might as well check out the city's bustle, but the man in the white suit told him to use the time to train, otherwise when the apocalypse hits, he will just be cannon fodder. Surprised, the man in the black suit asked the man in the white suit what he meant by an apocalypse. The man in the white suit then told him that their professor predicts the next spatial fluctuation will be 10 times stronger than it was 20 years ago. The most pressing matter at hand is to increase their capabilities across the board in anticipation of that day. With a serious expression, the man in the white suit said, "Only this way can we repay the country for nurturing us." Meanwhile, at the deep sea, Chen connected his mind with his sea iguana, and, while searching, finally found something valuable. However, stirring up too much sand earlier broke a lot of porcelain. Then Chen went to get a coffee at a cafe. He looked up on the internet to check the price of the things he found. Chen struck gold. He got one Song Dynasty piece worth at least a few million, maybe even tens of millions. It's too bad his carelessness destroyed so much. Otherwise, they all could have been worth over 100 million. While he was checking the internet, he suddenly heard a commotion. A waitress was shouting at a black-haired customer, asking him what he was grabbing. The customer argued with the waitress, telling her not to accuse him. But then he started smiling and said, "Miss, since you said I grabbed something, should I grab for real now?" Another customer sitting nearby asked the black-haired man how he could be so shameless, as he saw it clearly. The black-haired customer argued with him too, saying, "So what if you did? If you're upset, try hitting me." The waitress got scared and tried to run away from there. Chen shot up from his seat and told the black-haired man that he had never met someone as arrogant as him. The black-haired man laughed and said, "Now you've met me today. If not happy, then try hitting me." The black-haired man challenged Chen, shouting, "Do you dare to come and hit me?" He laughed, calling Chen another hot-blooded youngster who only knows how to talk. This made Chen very angry. While walking towards the man, he asked the waitress if their store had surveillance cameras. Hearing Chen, the waitress understood what he meant and immediately disconnected the surveillance camera's power. After that, she told Chen that the cameras were broken. Chen smiled because now there would be no evidence. Seeing the waitress pull out the camera's power plug, the black-haired man got scared, realizing that he had messed up. Chen moved towards the black-haired man and slapped him so hard that with just one slap, the man fell to the ground and lost consciousness. After slapping the man, Chen smirked, saying, "In this day and age, someone actually wants to get beaten up. How ridiculous." Chen then left the coffee shop and returned to the warehouse. While lying on the sofa, he practiced his new lightning ability. After a few minutes, a system notification came, telling Chen that his thunder control experience had increased by 10 and his mental strength by 1 point. While practicing, Chen thought to himself, "A human life, barely a century, is but a blink in the lifespan of a star, and one day, I will break through the boundary of life and death." The next day, while leaving in his car, Chen asked his secretary to find some time to study accounting books, because she would have to handle the company's finances when the time comes. Chen added that he would pay her double. The secretary hesitated but accepted as her pay would double. Seeing Chen entering the car, she asked him where they were heading next. Chen told her that they were going to sell some stuff. After searching for a few minutes, they found a shop. The shop owner introduced himself as Gao, the owner of that antique shop. Chen pointed at the suitcase his secretary was holding and asked Mr. Gao if he could help them estimate how much this plate was worth. Mr. Gao asked both of them to come inside and discuss this upstairs. Chen opened his suitcase and showed Mr. Gao his ancient plate. While Mr. Gao was checking the plate, he found that it had the salty smell of seawater. He immediately realized that it was just salvaged. Mr. Gao then turned to Chen and told him that the plate was genuine but was part of a set, and he only had one piece. which lowers its value significantly. Chen laughed and admitted that it really was a set. He told Mr. Gao that when he found this porcelain bottle, there were plenty of others around it. Unfortunately, this was the only one that's intact. Hearing that, Mr. Gao said it was really a shame, and if it's just this one piece, he can only offer 4.5 million. Hearing the price, Chen closed the suitcase and told Mr. Gao that it was all right, and he would think about it. Then, after a few hours of wandering around many shops, Chen and his secretary were standing on the street. The secretary, while drinking a coffee, told Chen that after visiting so many stores, Mr. Gao still seemed the most genuine. Chen, who was eating some snacks, said, "Well, he did make the highest offer. Maybe we should just sell it to him." But Chen felt that there was something off about the look in Mr. Gao's eyes. That guy was definitely hiding something. Sometime later, in a luxurious villa's living room, Mr. Gao went to meet his boss. The boss asked Gao if he was saying he had found a lead on the sunken ship he was searching for. Mr. Gao showed the plate that Chen sold him, and asked his boss to look at the porcelain, which had the official seal they had been looking for. Mr. Gao told his boss that the porcelain was sold to him by a young man, so that young man must know more details. The boss told Gao to give the information to Fox, and within half an hour, he wanted everything on that young man. A few minutes later, Mr. Gao had all the information about Chen. Gao told his boss that this young man was an ordinary college student who suddenly spent 3 million to buy a luxury car, and even went overseas with Li Tianrui. Gao asked his boss if they should still take action after seeing the people backing him. The yellow-haired boss, Du Hong, laughed and told Gao to take action. At the same time, while Chen was lying on his bed, he remembered Mr. Gao handing him a form and asking him to fill it out, saying they would need his details for future transactions or auctions. At that time, Chen filled out the form, but he still felt like today's deal went unusually smoothly. Chen couldn't shake the feeling that Boss Gao was hiding something. He hoped that nothing strange would happen. The next day, Chen was leaving his apartment and was in the elevator. His last night really was uneventful. He wondered if he was just overthinking it. He decided to forget it and just head straight to school to check things out. There was another matter Chen was curious about. After absorbing the sea python, his strength, muscle density, and everything else had reached 50 to 60 times that of a regular person. He wondered if he could withstand gunfire now. While Chen was thinking, the elevator arrived at the ground floor. But outside the elevator, a guy in a hoodie was waiting for Chen. Just as Chen came out of the elevator, the thug grabbed Chen from behind and told him not to move or make a sound. He asked Chen to come with him. The thug had a gun pointed at Chen's back, so Chen decided to go with the thug. The thug took Chen into a car where his other partner was waiting. The thugs kidnapped Chen and headed to their base. While Chen was in their car, he acted scared and asked the thugs where exactly they were taking him because he didn't recall ever offending them. The thug who was driving told Chen that they were taking him to meet someone and asked him not to try anything. The thugs took Chen to an abandoned warehouse where many other thugs and their boss were waiting for him. The thugs told their boss that they had brought the guy. Hearing that, the thug boss looked at Chen angrily, shouting, "Let me see what kind of guy kept me waiting all night." After seeing the thug boss's face, Chen's attitude shifted from scared to his original calm self. With a smile he asked, "Why is it just you guys?" Seeing Chen like that, all the thugs became alert. The thugs who kidnapped him were confused because he had been so scared earlier, but now he was suddenly calm. Chen's calmness was unnerving. The thugs immediately realized that something was off. The thug boss shouted, asking his men what they were standing around for. He told them to grab their weapons. All the thugs pointed their guns at Chen. With lightning speed, Chen turned around and kicked the thug standing behind him. The thug's gun went flying, and Chen kicked him again in the face. Chen quickly grabbed the gun, and the thug fell to the ground and died in just one move. Seeing that, the thug boss gripped his gun tightly and asked Chen to put the gun down. The other thugs did the same and put some distance between themselves and Chen. Nervously, the thug boss said, "You've got one gun, but I've got two. And by the way, your gun only has one bullet. You're surrounded by us." Hearing that, Chen smiled and asked the thugs if they hadn't figured it out yet. It was actually them who were surrounded by him. Chen looked down on the thugs and asked, "Now tell me, who's behind you? If you're honest, I'll make it quick for you." The thugs didn't agree with Chen and tried to get closer. So without any hesitation, Chen fired his last bullet, shooting the thug boss in the head and killing him instantly. Seeing that Chen was out of bullets, all the thugs shot at him. But Chen immediately threw his gun into the air and blocked the bullet, using his internal energy to grab the bullet aimed at his body. Seeing this, the thugs' jaws dropped. They were all shocked and scared, thinking he was a monster. After catching the bullet, Chen himself was amazed at how powerful he had become. After that, Chen began a one-sided beating of the thugs, leaving only one alive to get information. He asked the surviving thug who had sent them after him. The dying thug told Chen that it was the director of Longhua Group, Chang Du-hong, who also owned the shop on Guan Street and lived at Guanshan Villa, number 3. Just as the thug disclosed this, the thug boss's phone started ringing. Chen picked up the thug boss's phone and answered the call, saying, "You're Du-hong, right? I'm Chen Chu. See you tonight." Hearing Chen's warning, Mr. Gao got a little scared and told his boss Du-hong that Chen was dangerous. Boss Du-hong told Gao to get ready, saying, "Let's see if this kid dares to come here." Meanwhile, Chen, having Du-hong's address, ran all the way to Du-hong's house. Chen was so fast that even a car traveling at 120 meters per second could not match his speed. Meanwhile, security at Du-hong's villa increased, with many bodyguards with guns patrolling and guarding the entire villa, including 3 bodyguards in Du-hong's office. After waiting for a few hours, Gao asked, "Do you think that Chen got cold feet?" Du-hong responded that Chen had single-handedly defeated 7 people who all had guns, indicating there was more to him than it seemed. Du-hong was not worried because he had a dozen gunmen and several dozen more loyal subordinates. Du-hong smiled and said it was time to put them to work. While they were talking, suddenly the whole villa's electricity was cut down, plunging it into pitch darkness. All the bodyguards panicked as they could not see anything. Guards beside Du-hong ordered the outside guards to activate backup power. Then they received a message that the main gate's CCTV was broken, followed by another message that even the front door's CCTV was broken. Du-hong started to get scared and ordered the bodyguards to shoot anyone who came in, no matter who they were. On the other hand, one by one, Chen took out all the bodyguards from the hallway and the garden. After that, he started banging on Du-hong's office door. The bodyguards inside the office aimed at the door and got ready to shoot. Chen broke down the office door and entered inside. Just as the door opened, Du-hong ordered the bodyguards to fire, but before they could even shoot, in the blink of an eye, Chen reached them and knocked down both of the bodyguards, and then walked towards Du-hong. Seeing Chen move so fast, Du-hong asked if he was awakened. Scared, Du-hong told Chen that he would give him 500 million if Chen left them 2 alive. Chen smiled and told Du-hong it was a tempting offer, but he couldn't leave the 2 alive after killing everyone else. Chen asked them to talk about those who've awakened, saying if they told him, he would make their deaths painless. Du-hong was very angry, but understanding that he had no choice, he began telling Chen about awareness. He recounted that in 1999 at Tiger Mountain Town, he was fighting for territory with over a dozen brothers, when suddenly a person covered in flames descended from the sky, turning the town into a sea of flames in the blink of an eye. When he went there the next day, that place was nothing but a huge lake, which the authorities called Sunken Lake. Hearing about that incident, Chen realized that awakened people are too powerful. He thought it was lucky that he wasn't making waves then. While Chen was lost in thought, Du-hong, who was hiding a gun underneath his table, tried to shoot Chen, but Chen moved to his right and dodged the bullet. In the next instant, Chen jumped over the table, kicked Goa in the face, and punched Du-hong, smashing his head on the ground. After killing both of them, Chen said, "Even if you're so rich, you're just an insect in my eyes. If you're within reach, you're as good as dead." After killing them, Chen burned Du-hong's villa. A few minutes later, the police arrived at Du-hong's villa and found it burnt to rubble. A policeman told the deputy chief that 31 bodies were found in total, one of which was the director of Longhua Group. Looking at the villa, the deputy chief guessed that it was Chen as they had found Chen's information in Du-hong's phone. The deputy chief guessed that Chen should also be responsible for the deaths of the people in the Red Forest. Seeing the unusual movement of the underground, the deputy chief understood that the next attack was imminent, so he was planning to give Chen a chance, but he's just too cruel. He's forsaken the straight and narrow. On the other hand, when Chen returned to his warehouse, he saw that the chicken he had was gone, and there were oil marks. It didn't take him long to understand that the person who came here last night was extraordinary. Chen decided to wait for that person to return again. While waiting, he connected himself with the sea iguana. He hunted another fish-like creature, and after devouring it, he obtained 67 evolution points and 6 stat points. Chen found that there were many more fish like that deep into the sea, and decided to take a look. When he got 1,200 meters below the surface, he found a live volcano under the deep sea, but the pressure below 1,200 meters started getting a little difficult for Chen to withstand, so he returned. Then, the next day at the warehouse, while Chen was waiting, someone holding a shopping bag arrived at the warehouse. While hiding behind a wall, Chen watched the man. Chen was not going to let the man run away. When the man's back was facing Chen, he immediately charged at the man with full power and punched him. But when the smoke cleared, Chen was shocked to see that there was nothing at all, and the man had disappeared. Chen started to wonder what power this was. A dimensional rift? A path into another world? What else could it be? While he was thinking, suddenly the ground underneath Chen turned blue. Immediately, a system notification came telling Chen that his body was being corrupted by polluted energy. Another notification came telling Chen that although his body was powerful enough to be immune, this resistance would be overcome after 5 hours. But Chen completely ignored the system notification because he was very excited, seeing the dimension connected to his warehouse. Just as he entered this other dimension, he saw a door and something standing outside. Before Chen could understand what was happening, the thing standing outside jumped to attack him. It was a green-colored humanoid monster whose head looked like a squid. Seeing that, even Chen got confused, wondering if it was a zombie or some other monster. Just as the monster tried to attack, Chen punched him in the face, blasting his head into pieces. A system notification came, telling Chen that he had killed a defective demon corpse and had gained 2 stat points. After killing that monster, Chen turned to the door. There was a signboard above the door saying, "Tiger Mountain Town welcomes you." Chen entered the door and found a whole town behind it. Seeing Tiger Mountain Town, Chen immediately remembered that it was the town that Du Hong told him had been flattened into a lake overnight. It didn't take long for Chen to understand that this town wasn't destroyed by humans. It was pulled into another world. Chen decided to return for now because it was dangerous here. While he was going back to the door from which he came, an orange-haired little girl was observing him while standing on a huge tree. That little girl had the chicken that was stolen from Chen's warehouse. She started eating that chicken in a hurry. On the other hand, while Chen was returning, he used those 2 points that he got after killing that monster to strengthen his electric powers. A system notification came, telling him that his stat points had been used to strengthen his ability to control electricity. His experience had increased by 20, and his spirit by 2. When Chen returned to his world, he checked the information about Tiger Mountain Town on the internet. He found out that Tiger Mountain Town had sunk and 30,000 people had disappeared. Chen was shocked to find that over 30,000 people disappeared with the town. He thought that if they all became monsters, he couldn't imagine how many stat points there would be. He took out his phone and called Manager Lee, asking if he could help Chen check where the displaced people from Tiger Mountain Town are now. Manager Lee told Chen that he would check tomorrow about Tiger Mountain Town. The next day, Chen went to the steel company, where he ordered his huge pillar and dumbbells. He asked the steel company manager to make him a small steel house and a large knife to decorate it. The knife must be 2 meters long, thick, durable, and sharp. The manager was shocked to hear about the 2-meter-long knife, and told Chen that this might be difficult, because there are regulations on the production of knives. Chen laughed, and asked the manager if he thought anyone would carry a 60-kilogram knife, run around, and cause chaos. Left with no choice, the steel company manager agreed. Chen ordered this knife, thinking that since demon corpses are strange beings, what if he gets infected? While he was thinking that, it suddenly struck him that besides a knife and metal house, he might as well get a set of armor. He ordered that too. After that, he went to Hotel Haxian to meet Manager Lee. Manager Lee told Chen that there's so much conflicting information on the survivors of Tiger Mountain Town, and the authorities say the matter's settled, but when he checked, he found nothing on it. Hearing that, Chen confirmed that over 30,000 people were buried too. He immediately returned home in his car, then connected with the sea iguana. Today, Chen caught over 40 mutated tiger-headed fish and ate all of them in one go. He was still lacking 300 evolution points before he could evolve for the 3rd time. The next day, Chen went to the villa he had seen before to buy it. The salesman introduced him to a girl who was the owner of the villa. That girl complimented Chen, telling him that he had a good eye. But Chen got straight to the point and immediately took out money. He told the girl that they could begin talking after she inspected it. The girl was shocked to see $20 million in cash. After buying the villa, Chen returned to his warehouse, connected with the sea iguana, and started hunting. Today, he went 1,500 meters below the surface, and, during today's hunt, he gained 300 evolution points. A system notification came telling Chen that he had reached the maximum possible points for the next stage, and asked if he wanted to evolve. Chen chose yes to evolve. Just as he chose the sea iguana's evolution to begin in the deep sea, its whole body got covered by internal energy. After the sea iguana's evolution, when Chen checked his internal energy, he found that it had increased significantly. Now, he can hear the sound of ants moving food from 100 meters away, and 300 meters away. A patrolling security guard is complaining about his life. Chen's strength and speed have doubled, but he is as nimble as ever. He is leveled up to Earth tier, and his constitution has reached 1,000 along with his spirit, which has reached 200. Suddenly, Chen got a system notification telling him that now he has 2 talents. One is affinity for water, and the second is electric fire breathing, which helps him control over electricity. Chen was surprised to see his electric fire breathing talent, but it didn't take him long to understand that it should be because he ate all those mutated tiger-headed fish. On the other hand, when Chen connected to his sea iguana, he was shocked to find that it has become 40 meters long. At this point, it is not just an overgrown lizard, it is as big as Godzilla. Chen immediately tried his new electric fire-breathing talent, and shot flames from its mouth, and found that he was too weak internally. His electric fire is average in terms of power. While Chen was wandering around the sea surface, he saw a pair of eyes in a crack looking at him. Chen realized that there's a big guy down there. Without hesitation, Chen went inside and found a huge fish, even bigger than Chen's Godzilla in size. Chen immediately grabbed the giant fish's mouth with his sharp claws. Chen thought that once he ate this fish, he would probably be able to snap an aircraft carrier in half with one bite. Without giving that fish any chance, Chen split the fish's head in one go and killed it. When he ate that tiger-headed fish, it gave him over 2,000 evolution points and a lot of fiery energy. After that, Chen went into a cave. This cave was that huge tiger-headed fish's territory. While he was checking that, suddenly he saw something which shocked him completely. He saw a skeleton of some kind of sea monster, which was 100 times bigger than Chen's Godzilla, but it was killed, and a huge metal nail was stuck in its head. It was too terrifying and gave Chen a sense of fear that he couldn't quite name. He saw that there was something in that huge skeleton's head, and the power in Chen's body was roiling towards it. Suddenly, a system notification came telling Chen that he had discovered an ancient factor and asked him if he wanted to absorb it. Chen immediately said yes, because he understood that this was something that would significantly increase his strength. Just as he chose, Chen's Godzilla's whole body got covered by huge amounts of energy. Another system notification came telling Chen that he had absorbed an ancient factor and was now undergoing an extraordinary evolution. He obtained the power of an ancient beast, Crimson Flame. Slowly, Godzilla started absorbing the energy of the Crimson Flame, and second by second, the energy of the Crimson Flame was increasing. Chen decided to test this Crimson Flame and opened its mouth and shot a beam of flame. This beam of flames was so strong that it destroyed a whole island in one go. Chen was shocked to see the terrifying show of power. With one blast of energy, an island disappeared. A few days later in the warehouse, Chen's 2-meter sword and titanium alloy armor had arrived. The sword weighed 120 kilograms, the perfect weight for Chen. He decided to call it the Heavenly Sword. He checked the titanium alloy armor and saw that it was not bad either. It was pretty handy in combat. After he was completely ready, he activated his detection technique. After he had evolved, he could detect other beings. And with that technique, he found out who was stealing his food. But he didn't expect it to be a little girl. He wondered if she was one of Tiger Mountain Town's survivors with special powers, or if she was a monster too. Chen decided to follow her, and following her, he entered the different domain where Tiger Mountain Town was. When he got there, hundreds of monsters were standing right in front of the town entrance. Seeing them, Chen thought that the town gets more lively at night. Without giving those monsters any chance to react, he jumped, and with just one strike of his sword killed one monster. A system notification came telling Chen that he had killed a demon corpse and obtained 5 stat points. Chen immediately used those points to strengthen his weapon, the Heavenly Sword. The system asked him to please choose which aspect he would like to strengthen, like durability, sharpness, armor-piercing ability, and damage against monsters, or elemental strengthening like wind, fire, lightning, electricity, and light. Chen chose to put 3 points into durability and 2 points into sharpness. After choosing that, he swung his sword again to kill more monsters. Suddenly, there was an explosion of energy and smoke spread everywhere. From that smoke, a huge monster with red glowing eyes came to attack Chen. This monster was fast and surprised Chen, but it was not fast enough to escape from him. With one strike, he killed that monster too. A system notification came telling Chen that he had killed a second-tier demon corpse and obtained 10 attribute points. His armor had strengthened to 15 points, and he had obtained a first-tier shock-deflecting ability. Chen immediately used 5 points to increase his armor's resilience, and gave 5 points to increasing his sword's sharpness. While he was doing that, suddenly he noticed something. He saw monsters coming towards him. With lightning speed, Chen moved and sliced all those monsters into pieces with his sword. System notifications popped up like crazy, telling Chen that he had killed a second-tier violent demon corpse and gained 12 attribute points. After killing those monsters, Chen felt that something dangerous was behind him, and when he turned around, he saw a huge monster 10 times the size of a human standing behind, ready to attack. Chen was surprised by how big this one was, but he didn't panic. because he didn't get all those points for nothing. The huge monster tried to punch Chen with its full power, so Chen did the same and punched the monster with full power. Both of their punches collided, creating a powerful explosion, and both Chen and the monster were pushed back. Chen realized that this monster was basically as strong as him, but it was too slow, so it was no fun for Chen. He jumped high, and with 2 strikes killed the giant monster. A system notification came telling Chen that he had killed a 5th-tier armored demon corpse and gained 100 attribute points. He also discovered the demonic armor element and could now use 10 attribute points to absorb it. Seeing the notification, Chen thought, no wonder this monster was so strong. It was actually a 5th tier. It makes sense that I would need to hit it over 10 times to kill it. I am still lacking a one-hit knockout move. While Chen was fighting, he suddenly heard a child's voice telling others to run away. When Chen got there to see who it was, he found that orange-haired girl hiding under a table. Chen immediately recognized that she was the girl who stole his chicken, but also reminded him to run. She didn't seem to have any ill intent. When Chen got closer, he saw Shi written on the girl's clothes. He gently petted the little girl and said, "You're Shi, right? I'm Chen Chu. You're my little sister now, so I'll take care of you. Let's go, Shi. I'll bring you to the city and get you a new set of pretty clothes." Chen took the little girl and left that dimension. While going in the car, Chen pointed at the lake, which was created after the disappearance of Tiger Mountain Town, and asked Shi if she knew what that dark lake in the flooded area was. Shi, not knowing how to talk properly, somehow told Chen that it's the Black Tide. She didn't know what's there, but it's dangerous. Hearing that it's dangerous, Chen did not dig deeper. He went to a shopping mall and bought many beautiful clothes for Shi. He then returned to his villa and gave Shi food to eat. Seeing the food, Shi became very happy and immediately ran to eat it. Chen then checked his status window. He was still level with 1000 physique and 200 mental control. His acquired techniques were external QI at beginner level and QI sense also at beginner level. His acquired skills were collapsing punch at beginner level, sky step at intermediate level, and spring kick also at intermediate level. His acquired abilities were lightning mastery at beginner level and crimson flame at beginner level. He currently had 80 attribute points. He had 1 clone, a scaled thorn lizard which had evolved 3 times. It's a beast lord that has ancient origins. It has 2,400 evolution value and needs 10,000 points to evolve. Looking at his status window, Chen thought that when he was fighting, he was completely covered, which suppressed his internal energy. But even then, he was able to show an explosion of strength, which could be a guaranteed kill. So with the 80 attribute points left, he decided to use them to strengthen his armor. Now that Chen had removed his armor, he tried using his internal energy and was shocked to find that he had broken past the intermediate level. He is now at least 3 times stronger than before. At the same time at Ning University, some students were gathered for a meeting. A guy with glasses told the others that the place where they are training sounds like it's at least lieutenant level. Another guy corrected him and told him that it's a 2nd lieutenant. A girl asked the glasses guy if he meant they had caught the eye of some secret department. Suddenly, another guy entered and told the girl that she was right. A special department had been established in the city. Once the training is over, successful participants will become lieutenants, but there will be various dangers. He also asked all the students if they wanted to join or give up. All the students replied in unison that they would join. On the other hand, at the warehouse, while training, Chen punched and created a hole in the iron pillar. His outer covering caused the Crimson Flame's power to coalesce inside him and then explode outwards. Chen decided that this would be his one-hit knockout OKO move. That punch had at least 150 tons of force, so he would call that move Exterminating Flame. He then continued, and after 100 punches, he stopped, thinking this should be more than enough training. Now, he was confident that if he ran into that demonic corpse again, 3 punches should do it. Chen then went to Ning University's campus in his luxury car. At the same time, the girl from that group of students was leaving the campus. She saw Chen and complimented that he was handsome. Jealous, her boyfriend told her it was an expensive car, so that handsome guy must have been born with a silver spoon in his mouth. He asked her why she cared about that man so much. The glasses guy told them that the handsome guy had saved Lin Roya from 4 kidnappers a month ago. Hearing that, the girl asked the glasses guy if that handsome guy was that powerful. Her boyfriend got more jealous and made fun of Chen, saying, "There is no way that little guy saved someone from 4 kidnappers. Maybe those were just some desperate guys, not real kidnappers." Well, leaving that aside, Chen went to his university's campus and played with Shi. After playing, they sat at a table to enjoy ice cream. While Shi was eating her ice cream, Chen connected to his Godzilla. Just as he connected, he saw a submarine right in front of his eyes. Chen scanned the submarine with his detection technique and found out that it was a yacht filled with bandits from Kangaroo Country, and that's why it was so small. It seemed like a good place for Chen to test his strength. In the submarine, the sonar detected a large life form 100 meters below rapidly approaching. They all panicked, seeing it moving towards them very fast. They were very scared because it was going to hit them, but they could not do anything against it. Chen's Godzilla scratched the outer layer of the submarine with its sharp claws. The 2 cabins at the back of the submarine were damaged and were leaking. Their sonar had been damaged as well. The captain of the submarine ordered his men to close the valves and stop the water from coming in, turn on the multi-beam bathymetry, set a destination, and get a picture of the surroundings. After a few minutes, a man told the captain that it was a huge creature around 40 meters long, even bigger than a blue whale. The captain was shocked, asking how something so big could exist since even blue whales are only 30 meters long. He ordered his men to close the back hatches and resurface. A man told the captain that the water ingress was severe, and that the huge monster was still attacking. Hearing that, the captain ordered them to fire the torpedoes and set the turbines to their maximum power and resurface as fast as possible. Seeing the torpedoes coming, Chen turned around and swam away. He reached a speed of 200 kilometers per hour. At this speed, the torpedoes wouldn't be able to catch up to him, but this show had just started. Chen then took a turn and headed towards the submarine, and the torpedoes followed him. He immediately hid behind the submarine, and the torpedoes, unable to change their direction so fast, collided with the submarine and exploded with a huge explosion. Seeing the power of the explosions, Chen realized that if he were directly hit, he would definitely be injured. This made him understand that he had to get even stronger. Then, after eating the ice cream, Chen went to his university's evening party. There, a yellow-haired girl was performing a traditional dance. A man standing beside Chen complimented the girl, saying she was one of the 4 beauties from all the new students, and that she danced as nimbly as a bird. When Chen saw the yellow-haired girl's face, he immediately recognized her as the girl he had saved on the road where she was lying and had been drugged. She, sitting in Chen's arms, complimented the girl, saying she was very pretty. Then, after her dance, the yellow-haired girl greeted all the audience and was about to leave. But before that, a brown-haired boy who was holding a bouquet climbed onto the stage and approached her. He proposed to the yellow-haired girl named Qian, saying he had fallen in love with her at first sight and asked her to be his girlfriend. The yellow-haired girl was surprised by the sudden proposal. Before she could say something, the whole audience started shouting, asking the brown-haired boy what he was talking about. They told the boy they didn't have so much free time and asked him to get off the stage. Some angry people commented, telling the boy that doing this was way too old-fashioned and he should stop embarrassing himself. Seeing the support from her audience, Qian stood up for herself and told the brown-haired boy that her audience wouldn't let her say yes, and she didn't like him anyway. After getting rejected, the boy got off the stage. A while later, when the whole program ended and Chen was returning home with Shi, he was stopped by Qian, asking him if he still remembered her. When Qian stopped him, people around were shocked to see that the school beauty was waiting for Chen. Qian ignored them and told Chen that last month he called the police and saved a girl who was drugged. Hearing that, Chen remembered that he did something like that, but he didn't remember that it was Qian. He asked Qian if there was an issue. Seeing that Chen didn't recognize her, Qian started thinking about what she should say, but Chen didn't wait for her and walked past her, telling her that if there's nothing, he would take his leave. He said goodbye to Qian and left from there. Seeing Chen leaving in his luxury car, Qian was surprised. She knew that car cost at least 2 million, and Chen was wearing new Gucci shoes which were at least 30,000. She understood that he was the spitting image of someone born with a silver spoon in their mouth, unlike the brown-haired boy. Later, after Chen returned to his warehouse and then entered a different dimension, he looked at a deep cave. Chen remembered that according to what Shi said, the dark tide is coming, and he had to find a cave because everything on this earth will disappear. The cave in front of Chen was 30 meters deep and 4 or 5 meters tall, so he thought that this would work. After that, Chen got back to his work and started killing the monsters. He killed 2 monsters. One was a second-tier mutated bone spear demon corpse. By killing it, he gained 20 attribute points. The second monster he killed was a third-tier mutated flaming demon corpse. With that, he gained 20 attribute points. Chen was surprised to see a demon corpse evolve the power to wield flame, and it was a little hot because Chen could feel it on his skin. He asked the system to increase his clothes' resistance to demon attacks. A system notification came telling Chen that he had used 10 attribute points. Now his armor had fused with materials from demons and had ascended to become extraordinary. Hearing that he got extraordinary demon armor, Chen tried touching the corpse of that flaming demon, and this time the flame didn't feel hot to Chen. Seeing that, Chen laughed because it had basically made him immune to normal flames. Chen then connected to his Godzilla, which was in the deep sea. By accessing Godzilla's memories, Chen found that the Pacific doesn't have many deep-water fish, and mutated fish are hard to find. Thinking this, he decided he might as well hunt for them in fish farms. Chen then went to a fish farm and caught 20+ large fish, which should suffice for half a day of food. After feeding Godzilla, Chen disconnected himself and resumed his hunt. While he was hunting, suddenly a monster attacked him, which Chen hadn't sensed approaching. Chen was shocked by the monster's speed because it broke the sound barrier. Chen used his sword to defend against the monster's attack. Just as Chen blocked that attack, the monster immediately jumped high to attack again, calling Chen new meat. This monster had huge spikes on its hand, which it used as a sword. Chen was surprised by this demon corpse's sword skills. It was surprisingly nimble. However, observing the monster's movements closely, Chen discovered that when the monster holds a blade, its arm shakes twice, and the sword's trajectory changes. Understanding the monster's weakness, Chen got ready to end this. Chen jumped at the monster while swinging his body so that the monster could not block it. But the monster had a trick up its sleeve. It had a second head hidden in its stomach. When Chen got near, the monster's second head shot flames at Chen. But Chen was fast and blocked the monster's flames with his sword. Chen used his exterminating flame skill with his sword to subdue the flames. The monster's second head was shocked seeing Chen do that. Chen didn't give the monster a chance to do anything else, and used his long sword to cut it into 2 pieces. A system notification came telling Chen that he had killed a 5th-tier burning flame demon corpse and gained 100 attribute points. Then another notification popped up saying a fusion core element had been discovered, and Chen could spend 10 attribute points to extract it. Chen was confused about what the fusion core element was, but he decided to extract it. Immediately, a head-like parasite appeared on Chen's sword. The system told Chen that his weapon, Heavenly Sword, had melded with demonic materials and had ascended to become extraordinary. After obtaining this fusion core element, Chen immediately tested it. His sword engorged with flames, and when Chen swung it, it sent a very powerful fire strike combined with lightning. Seeing this, Chen was very happy, because now he could combine the power of flame and lightning to make a blast of energy from his sword. Sometime later, while exploring on the other side of town, Chen saw a huge monster with 8 legs roaming around. Amazed, Chen observed a demon corpse that had mutated to look like a spider. However, Chen didn't attack the monster because the forest was so quiet, it became uncanny. Chen decided to return first. When Chen returned to his warehouse through his dimension portal, he was welcomed by little Shi. She greeted Chen and said, "Big brother Chen, I will close the door for you." Chen was surprised to hear that Shi could close a formless door, meaning she has power over space and is more mysterious than he had thought. Chen thought closing the door was good. At least it would prevent remaining demon corpses from coming out when he was not there. While Chen was contemplating this, suddenly a system notification appeared, telling him that it had been detected he could increase his storage space. 10 attribute points would equal 1 square meter of storage space. The system asked Chen if he would like to use it. Chen immediately agreed because that was just what he needed. He was just about to complain that carrying his sword and armor around was becoming inconvenient when the system offered him additional storage space. Chen then connected to his Godzilla. He was surprised to find that in just 3 hours, its body had grown 5 or 6 meters, and it had gained over 500 evolution points. From his Godzilla's memories, Chen found out that human-farmed fish taste good, just as he expected. On the other hand, above the sea at the fish farm, workers noticed some fish coming to the surface. A worker asked his senior to look over there and see what had happened to that tuna. His senior said it was strange because they had enough oxygen, but when he looked closely, they saw that the fish were half-eaten. Realizing something had happened to the tuna, the fish farm workers were shocked. Before they could do or check anything, Chen's Godzilla hit their ship with its huge tail and destroyed it. Later at the villa, Chen reviewed his stats and found that he had over 100 attribute points left. He decided to level up everything. He used 40 attribute points and strengthened his chi sense, gaining 400 experience and breaking through to the intermediate tier. He then used 60 attribute points and strengthened his spring kick, gaining 600 experience and breaking through to Moonstep. After that, Chen jumped high to test his new power. His chi sense had increased from 100 meters to 500 meters, and Moonstep allowed him to stay in the air for a while. A few days later, while Chen was cutting Shi's hair, it was reported on the news that a surprising black fog had appeared in the city, covering 100 kilometers and causing the disappearance of over 50 people. When Chen heard about the black fog, he immediately remembered that it was similar to Tiger Mountain Town's black tide. It seemed to Chen that the world's peace wouldn't last much longer. Meanwhile, At the sea of Aoding Island, a submarine was traveling to an underwater laboratory. Inside the submarine, there were awakened beastmen. One of them asked a man controlling the submarine, named Sean, how Professor Kant's research was progressing. Sean told the beastman that the professor had retrieved a special substance from the giant beast's body, and even found the method by which the beast heals itself. Hearing about the extraordinary substance, the beastman became excited, saying they could now create extraordinary humans. Sean told the beastman that they would also be able to control even the largest beasts. The submarine arrived at an underwater cave system filled with huge crystals. Shan informed Professor Kant that the miniature nuclear plant had been brought here, and it had almost reached its destination. Professor Kant and Shan went to the laboratory, where there was a huge beast, almost the size of Chen's Godzilla, placed in a huge tube with a huge sword piercing its stomach. Some men then took the miniature nuclear plant and connected it to the beast's test tube. After the installation was complete, they connected the core's power supply. After that, when the professor looked at the test tube, he smiled because the core's power had entered the beast's body, and the beast had recovered. Professor Kang had installed a metal collar on the beast's neck, and this beast was smart enough to know that the metal collar could kill it, so it should now follow instructions. Sean praised Professor Kant, saying he was even smarter than Einstein. While they were talking, suddenly the huge beast moved its head and started stirring. Seeing this, Professor Kant jumped in happiness, because his decades of hard work had paid off, and the beast was finally waking up. Sean and Professor Kant were celebrating their success, not knowing that another beast was watching them. It was Chen's Godzilla, who had followed the submarine and found their location. Seeing that these fellows were trying to resuscitate a giant beast, Chen decided that they should die. He didn't give the beast time to fully wake up and charged in. He destroyed a wall of the cave and entered. Seeing another beast, everyone panicked. Professor Kant ordered his men to block it, or they would all die. Their security came first to attack. Seeing Chen's Godzilla, Professor Kant told Shan to go to the submarine. Meanwhile, the guards started shooting at Godzilla. One guard threw a fire extinguisher at Godzilla and shot it, making it explode right in front of Godzilla's face. They continued targeting Godzilla's face and shot it with explosives. While Godzilla was distracted, Shan and Professor Kant ran away from there. After throwing a fire extinguisher at Godzilla, the guards stopped to check on Godzilla. But to their surprise, when the smoke cleared, Godzilla came out unharmed. The guards were shocked because they used a 24mm armor-piercing round and an exploding bullet, weapons typically used in civil wars, but all that could not even scratch Godzilla. Immediately, an awakened man jumped towards Godzilla and used his Thunder Spear technique to attack it. Seeing that this was all humans could do against his Godzilla, Chen decided to end things now. He used his ultrasonic roar and threw flames from his mouth, sending the awakened man flying. While Godzilla was destroying and killing the guards, Professor Kant and Shan tried to sneak out in their submarine, but Chen noticed them running away. He shot a fire blast from his mouth and destroyed their submarine before they could escape. While Chen was killing them, the huge beast in the cave started to wake up fully and opened its mouth. Chen was surprised to see that it had really been resuscitated. Chen felt a very terrifying aura coming out of the beast. Chen decided to stay away and then kill it. He shot a fire blast at the beast from his mouth. His fire shot hit and exploded, making the beast scream, "I've just woken up. I'm not strong enough. Don't kill me." But before the beast could complete its words, its body exploded, and it died. A system notification came telling Chen that he had discovered a damaged ancient relic. The system asked if he wanted to absorb it. Chen was confused about what the system meant by damaged, but looking at the beast's body pieces, he didn't think much of it, and decided to absorb it. After that, Chen disconnected from Godzilla and went to a restaurant to eat with Shi. While they were eating, Chen got a system notification telling him that his clone had rested and gained 5 evolution points and 0.5 physique. These notifications came again and again. Chen was surprised to find that he could get stronger just from resting after absorbing the damaged relic. While Chen was busy, Shi was cleaning her plates because the food was too yummy. During this, Chen's phone received a message. When Chen checked his phone, he saw a message from Chen asking, "Senior Chen, are you free tomorrow? Let's have lunch together." Chen replied to her saying, "Sure, I will pick you up at 11. Then, after the meal, Chen again went to the other dimension through the teleportation door. There, he fought a flying insect-like monster that was striking Chen with its strong wings. Chen dodged the monster's attack, but was amazed to see that the monster's wings were so sharp that they could probably rip even a tank to shreds. Chen then jumped high and cut the monster into 2 with his sword. The system notified Chen that he had killed a 4th-tier demonic creature and gained 50 attribute points. Chen was slightly surprised to see that notification because he thought this monster should be 5th tier at least. After that, Chen moved to a different location. While going, he activated his super sense and sensed something ahead. When he arrived there, he encountered a worm-like monster with many spikes in its mouth. That monster slammed into Chen, pushing him back quite a bit. Chen used his sword to defend, but the monster's attack damaged Chen's extraordinary tier armor. Chen added 50 attribute points for strengthening his armor, and then charged at that monster again. He jumped high, destroying the ground, and swung his sword at the monster. But when he attacked using his fire, his attack bounced back due to a protective barrier around that monster. Chen was surprised to see that this monster had an energy wall. He then decided to get a little serious. Using his exterminating flame, he cut the monster into pieces. The monster's barrier broke like glass. A system notification came telling him that he had killed a 6th tier demonic creature, and gained 200 attribute points. Chen immediately used 100 points to strengthen his external chi, and 100 points to strengthen his crimson flame. With that, the temperature of his flames increased from 3,000 to 10,000 degrees, and his attack's distance also increased to 30 meters. He swung his sword and cut down a flying monster in two. Chen laughed, seeing that he could take out one dragonfly with each strike. Chen then returned home and checked his status window. Currently, Chen Chu is at the Earth tier, and his power has exceeded extraordinarily powerful individuals. His physique is 1752, mental spirit is 254, and he has external chi and chi sense techniques both at intermediate level. He has collapsing punch skill at beginner, sky step skill at intermediate, and spring kick skill at advanced. He has lightning mastery and crimson flame abilities. Currently, he has 280 attribute points and a 2 cubic meters inventory. In weapons, he has the heavenly sword and demonic emperor armor. His clone is scaled thorn Godzilla and a 3 times evolved beast lord that has ancient origins. It has 7,500 evolution value and needs 10,000 to evolve again. Looking at his status window, Chen said, "External chi increases my power. I've got exterminating flame for my one-hit knockout move, crimson flame for my long-distance move, and chi sense for my senses and various demon-repelling demon armors and weapons. His flame control is also very good now." He then decided to train up collapsing punch, sky step, and his control over electricity and lightning. The next day in the evening, Chen went to pick up Chen. She arrived and asked Chen what they should eat, stating that it was her treat. Chen suggested having seafood. While they were talking, some classmates of Chen were watching them. One girl asked another if that wasn't the school beauty, Chen. With an annoyed expression, the other girl said, "Looks like even she couldn't resist the allure of a fancy car. When did Ning University's atmosphere become this bad?" With his super hearing, Chen heard them, but ignored them, and went to a fancy restaurant. At the restaurant, Chen checked the menu and saw that wild-caught flower dragon was 4,000, and 2 oysters from Country F were 10,000. Hearing about the prices, Chen calculated and found that it was over 70,000. She got worried because she only had 10,000 in her account, which was 3 months of her living expenses and allowance. She hesitated but told Chen that she only brought 10,000. She asked him to lend her some, saying she would pay him back. Chen told her that there was no need. He had covered the bill, so she should enjoy her food. Hearing that, Chen became very happy, and asked Chen if he owned a seafood company, because she had heard that he didn't come to school often. That must be because he was busy with his job. She praised Chen, saying businessmen have such an aura about them. Chen smiled and told her that wasn't necessarily the case. He didn't go to school because he was busy slaying monsters and leveling up. He had no time to manage a company. Hearing about killing monsters and leveling up, Chen wondered if that was a game. While they were talking, suddenly a waitress came with a huge crab for them to eat. Chen was amazed to see the huge crab, but looking at the crab, Chen got lost in thought. He pondered whether, if the apocalypse came, he would still be able to enjoy such luxuries. After dinner, Chen went to a luxury goods store to do some shopping with Chen. While Chen was busy shopping, Chen felt embarrassed looking at the prices. Chen had said he wanted to go shopping after eating, but she hadn't expected him to shop at Louis Vuitton, spending 80,000 on a meal and dropping another 20 or 30,000 on clothes afterward. She realized she couldn't even buy one of Chen's buttons with her monthly living allowance of 2,000. Chen grabbed Chen's hand, suggesting they go and get her some clothes. Chen was surprised when Chen suddenly grabbed her hand, wondering if he thought she was easy, but Chen didn't give her a chance to say anything. He bought everything Chen said she liked, purchasing tens of items and handing over his card to the cashier. When the cashier saw Chen, she immediately recognized him. Looking at Chen, the cashier thought that the girl Chen came with previously was really pretty, but he'd found someone even prettier within a month, leading her to think he was a playboy. Meanwhile, Seeing that Chen had bought her $30,000 worth of clothes on their first meeting, Chen wondered if this was what it meant to spend money like water. She looked at Chen, thinking he wasn't going to bring her to a hotel next, was he? She was confused about what she should do. At the same time, not far from them at a nearby gym, suddenly another dimension portal opened up, and a corrupt demon came out of it, and started attacking the people who were at the gym. Chen, who always scans his surroundings for any danger, sensed the incident. Without any delay, he told Chen that he had some urgent matters to take care of, so he would send her back to school now. Hearing this, Chen wondered if he didn't have any intentions, or if he was taking things slow, but she dismissed her thoughts, thinking she was just overthinking it. After sending her back to school, Chen headed towards the gym as he felt that a tear in space had happened nearby and something was off. Sometime later, he arrived at the gym, which was completely empty except for a dark aura and some blood marks inside. Seeing this, Chen understood that his suspicions were correct. This was the real world, and yet a polluting aura had appeared. He then used his sense to confront the corrupt demon in an alleyway. When the corrupt demon saw that Chen had seen him, he jumped to attack, shouting, "Die, human!" But Chen didn't even give the corrupt demon a chance to strike. He kicked the corrupt demon in the face using his lightning and destroyed the corrupt demon's face. A system notification came telling Chen that he had killed a low-level polluted monster and gained 5 attribute points. Seeing the notification, Chen understood that it was just a polluted monster and not demonic like that dark elf from before. Then, after Chen left, a few hours later, the police arrived at the scene and found the polluted monster's destroyed body. The police deputy chief was there with the senior students of Chen's university, whom they had selected to form a team to fight against the upcoming apocalypse. The deputy chief told the students that he had wanted to use this polluted individual to see if their hard work had paid off, but it turns out someone killed it before they could. He told the students that by the looks of the monster's corpse, the one who killed it appears to be a superpowered individual who can control flame. Deputy chief was confused, wondering when someone with control over flame had appeared in N City. Later, when Chen was at home, he saw on the news that an immense number of tears in space had appeared in their world today. Unfortunately, it seemed that the apocalypse was coming. Seeing the news, Chen realized that the 99-year apocalypse was here. In the past 20 years, over 500,000 citizens had died on that battlefield, paying for humanity's 20 years of peace with their blood. They had entered an era that belongs to extraordinary people, and anyone could become extraordinary. Chen sent the information regarding the apocalypse to his grandfather, so that he could be safe, but Chen knew that it wasn't comprehensive enough. If he wanted to get more information, he would have to report to the Special City Bureau. Before going there, Chen connected to his Godzilla, which was in the deep sea. There, Godzilla encountered a giant whale. Chen immediately attacked the whale with his head. The giant whale was surprised at the fight, but then pushed back Godzilla and shot dark blue water at him, then ran away. The dark blue water formed a bubble around Godzilla. Once inside, Godzilla felt a very strong pressure. He was surprised to find that this giant whale could turn seawater into heavy water, but that was useless against Chen's Godzilla's tough body shell. Chen didn't give the whale any chance to run away and shot it down with his crimson flame. Looking at the giant whale's corpse, Chen thought that once he ate this giant whale, he would get at least 10,000 evolution points. Meanwhile, at a branch office of the Special City Bureau, all the chosen students were gathered to talk. One guy told the others that whoever killed that polluted monster yesterday was very good, better than any of them. The others agreed, saying it must be a normal citizen who has awakened power over flames. Chen was also there. She wondered if it could be Chen because, based on what he did that day, she didn't think she could do that even now. While the students were talking, suddenly the deputy chief entered the room in a hurry and told them that someone had logged an evolved individual in the afternoon. He asked the students if they wanted to take a look. All the students raised their hands, saying they wanted to see it. Then they all went to the testing area where, in the testing chute, Chen was getting ready to give the test. Seeing Chen, a girl immediately recognized him and told the others that he was the one who was driving a luxury car at school. Chen was very happy to see that it really was Chen. However, the deputy chief was not happy seeing Chen after what he had done to the gangsters who were after him. He then approached Chen, and while showing him the testing equipment, told him that registering his evolution meant that he would have to take a test. It would measure his power and speed. He asked Chen if that was okay. Chen told him that it was no problem. The deputy chief pointed at a punching machine, telling Chen that this was what they would use, and that it could display up to 15,000 kilograms of force. He asked Chen to hit it with all his might when he said so. While they were talking, a senior student asked another student named Old Lee how strong he thought Chen was, and how many stars he would get. Old Lee told the first student that since Chen killed a polluted monster last night, he's stronger than them for sure. Maybe he would get 3 stars. Another girl said she thinks Chen would get 4 stars. Hearing her, a guy explained to her that it would mean Chen needs to use 5,000 kilograms of force in one punch. Another guy told the others that Chen seems to have a lot of confidence that he'll break the testing equipment. Hearing him, another student said, "What a joke. Our captain's an evolved individual with 5 stars, and he's only at 10,000. But to everyone's surprise, when Chen hit the punching machine, he scored 12,000 kilograms. All the senior students were shocked to see that Chen is really 5 stars, and a strong one at that. Meanwhile, Chen was a little disappointed because he had overshot. He used too much power, and now it would attract attention. Then, after Chen reached the standard for 5 stars, the deputy chief told him that he could collect 50,000 yuan at the Special City Bureau every month, and if he was willing to join them, he would be paid much more. They would promote him to vice head, and he would get a title. He asked how that sounds, but Chen immediately told him no, saying he is used to flying solo. The deputy chief said okay, and then asked Chen if it was him who killed that polluted monster yesterday. Chen confirmed that it was him. Hearing that, the deputy chief noted that Chen has power over flame too. He told Chen his power is very strong, as good as those awakened individuals he saw back in the day, and with his talent, he might be taken on by the fighting god Jiang as a disciple if he joined the bureau. Hearing about the fighting god Jiang, Chen understood that he is what humans see to be the ceiling of possibility. This offer was somewhat tempting, but then Chen thought that since his giant lizard has to remain a secret, and he has other ways to get stronger, he immediately said no to the deputy chief, saying he appreciated the offer. Later, there was an announcement from N City's Special City Bureau. They congratulated N City for their first registered evolved individual named Chen Chu. Male, 21 years old, evolution level 5, and an extraordinary strength and blood-colored flame user. His current ranking among all evolved civilians is first. Seeing the announcement, people started commenting. In shock, a guy commented that a 5-star evolved individual is too OP. Another guy commented that other places have 3 stars as their max. N City is the best. A student of Chen's university commented, telling others that he is the male god Chen Chu from our school. Seeing the announcement, Manager Lee called Chen saying, "Brother, you're a 5-star evolved individual and ranked first. Take care of me in the future." Chen laughs and told him not to worry. Chen was getting hundreds of calls and messages. Even classmates he hadn't seen in years called to congratulate him. Realizing he had gotten too many calls, Chen laughed, wondering if this is what it feels like to be a god amongst men. Chen was happy because after eating that giant whale, the giant lizard was now 90 meters long, and Chen's physique had increased by 1,800 points. His strength had also increased from 29 tons to 70 tons. Now, with his outer covering, he could take an armor-piercing round. If they compared him to other evolved individuals, he was at least level 7 or 8. Chen previously thought that a 7-star rating should be the max that any awakened individual can hit. There's still a definite gap in power between that and the 10-star fighting gods. Chen was worried, thinking that in a peaceful world, even if his power were to increase every day, the absence of an equally strong opponent would leave him with an unshakable sense of emptiness. However, everything was different now. The apocalypse had come, and horrifying monsters had stepped through space-time into his reality. He was very happy because now countless powerful awakened individuals, evolved individuals, and gods of war would all step onto the stage. Chen was confident that at the rate he was growing, he would soon be able to stand shoulder to shoulder with those gods, but he was not going to stop there. He was determined to surpass them and become an even more powerful being. While he was thinking all this, suddenly he received messages on his phone. When he checked, he saw some messages in his office group chat. The first message was from Leng Yu, Chen's secretary, who, sending a surprise emoji, asked Chen if he was an evolved individual. Lin, the girl from the front desk, replied to Leng Yu that their boss had been long past the awakened stage forever. He's a 5-star individual. Hui Hui, who was the IT technician, praised Chen saying he is amazing. Chen acted modestly and sent a message telling everyone that it's nothing, and they would all get there eventually. It's just that he was a few days ahead. Lin messaged again saying she wanted to become awakened like her boss. She was determined, saying it'd be amazing if she could evolve into an angel so that she could grow beautiful wings. Leng Yu, with a disdainful expression, replied to Lin that she can't control what she evolves into, so she might become a toad too. Angry, Lin told Leng Yu to shut up. Seeing them fighting like children, Chen laughed and then wrote again, saying, "No slacking on the job." All 3 of the girls replied with, "Okay, boss," and then got back to their work. The next day, Chen went to his warehouse at the docks. He summoned his equipment from his inventory and got equipped in his full body armor. Shi was also there. Chen asked Shi to let them return. Hearing Chen, Shi created the other dimension door. She opened the door and told Chen that he could go in. While going inside, Chen asked Shi to wait here and not move. He would go and take a look. Just as Chen stepped inside, the whole environment changed completely. The smell inside made him understand immediately that something was off. In front of him was a completely new dimension full of flames and magma. Seeing that, Chen wondered if this door brought them to a new place every time they opened it. Looking at Shi behind the door, Chen understood that if they want to be sure of the world that lies behind that door, she's got to keep it open. He was worried that if they did that, what if some even more terrifying monster learns of the door's existence? Chen remembered the blue-eyed monster that had chased him that day. It could have deduced the location of the door from where Chen vanished and sent the sausage monster over to chase him. But once the door closes, it brings Chen to another location when he opens it again, so he would have to explore that location anew. Chen smiled, knowing that it is a completely randomly generated world. With excitement, Chen declared that it's not bad either. But while he was thinking all this, suddenly a system notification came, telling Chen that the extremely high temperatures here would kill most living beings in seconds. Suddenly a very warm wind flowed towards him. Chen's crimson flames could offset the burning effect of the high temperatures. Seeing the wind, Chen smiled because this warm wind even felt kind of refreshing to him. But suddenly, a system notification came telling Chen that his body was being affected by the polluting substances here. His body's immunity had succeeded in temporarily blocking the effect of the polluted substances, but his resistance would last for 15 hours. Chen was surprised to see the notification. He understood that no matter how resilient his body is, it seems that it can't completely resist the effects of this pollution. Chen was a little jealous, because after feeling the heat, he now knew that those awakened individuals and war gods would be completely unaffected, as they really are insanely powerful. Chen was a little sad, but didn't dwell on it for long because he had no time to lose, as he needed to explore what this world had to offer. He activated his senses and began scanning the area around him. He could scan a kilometer of the area in one go, and did so for quite a while. However, to his surprise, he didn't find a single trace of life or any monsters. The place was completely barren. Disappointed, Chen said, "It's no surprise because such a hellish environment wouldn't be conducive to life in the first place." He was about to ask Shi to open another door when, unbeknownst to him, a monster covered in flames emerged from behind him. When the monster got near, Chen sensed its presence and immediately turned around. He turned with super speed and swung his sword at the fire monster. Chen's sword cut the monster's body in two, but the monster didn't die and rejoined its body. The monster then looked at Chen and smiled. This monster was a poisonous smoke monster with a difficulty level of 3. Chen was a little surprised to see that monster because he hadn't even noticed it was behind him just moments ago. He realized that this world had something to it. The fire monster immediately charged at Chen with full speed, but when it tried to hit him, its attack was blocked by Chen's crimson flames, which formed a protective barrier around him. The monster immediately backed off. Seeing that, Chen realized it wasn't his senses that failed to pick up on this monster. It was because this monster was not alive at all. After understanding that this monster was just a spirit, Chen got ready to use his thunder attack, saying, "Since this is a filthy monster, I'll have to use the evil spirit repelling thunder to disperse it." Chen activated his evil spirit repelling thunder just as he saw the fire monster approaching. The monster was confused to see Chen using thunder. Chen collected thunder in his hands and created an electric arrow. Then with full power, he shot it at the fire monster. Before the monster could dodge or escape, Chen's electric arrow hit it and pierced its body, creating a huge hole in its stomach. The fire monster screamed in pain when it got hit, and its fire started to disappear, leaving only a skeleton behind. A skeleton head was all that remained of the fire monster as it fell to the ground. A system notification informed Chen that he had killed a third-tier strange monster and obtained 20 stat points. When Chen found out that it was a third-tier monster, he felt it was strange because it looked powerful, as it had the special ability to render physical attacks useless. Chen couldn't harm it at all just now. Plus, it might be because it was born in lava, but fire attacks were also useless. So, with all that, how could it be only third tier? Chen thought he might just be lucky that he happened to have the talents needed to counter it on hand. If not, this fight would have been extremely difficult. While he was thinking all this, suddenly Shi came there. Chen sensed her presence and turned around, only to be shocked to see her. He went to her asking, "Didn't I ask you to wait outside the door? Why did you come out? It's dangerous in here." As Shi couldn't talk properly, she just told Chen that she was worried as it's dangerous. Chen was at a loss for words when he heard that she came here because she was worried for him, but he knows that whatever the case may be, the place outside the door is not safe for her. He patted her head, telling her to stay far behind him and not move closer under any circumstances. But when his hand touched Shishi's head, she disappeared like an illusion. Chen was surprised seeing that, but suddenly he heard some noise from the background. To check what it was, he activated his senses to scan the surroundings. But before he could find where the noise came from, suddenly the rock Chen was standing on broke into pieces, releasing magma from everywhere. Shocked, Chen immediately jumped from that rock to escape the magma, and then, while jumping from one rock to another, he checked his surroundings. When he found the highest point of that place, he went towards it. The highest point he found turned out to be a huge rock pillar. Surprised, when Chen looked behind, he saw many rock pillars, same as the one he was standing on, all chained together creating a circle. When Chen looked closely, he saw magic runes engraved on those rocks. Seeing that, Chen smiled because he could call it a building, but it looked more like a seal or a prison, and it could completely hide a huge monster's aura. Just as Chen thought, there was indeed a monster hiding, using that seal. Chen walked towards that monster and said, "So the real treasure hidden in this world was you all along." The sealed monster Chen was talking to was Vandenfeld Fiery Wings, a true dragon. Chen didn't even want to imagine the kind of stats that dragon had. Seeing that Chen had found it, the dragon stood up and shouted, "Foolish humans, challenging me without a care for your lives. How laughable." While trying to show himself strong in front of Chen, the dragon told him that this is his world, and Chen is an intruder. Since Chen had come before him, he would be merciful and give Chen two choices. He could bury Chen here, of course. Not even Chen's ashes would be left to bury. As for the other option, he would be delighted to have a new servant. So as long as Chen kneels and recognizes Vandenfeld's power. Hearing the dragon's words, Chen smiled and told the dragon that he didn't want anything to do with him, but was interested in the dragon's bones. Saying that, Chen walked towards the dragon. Hearing Chen's words, the dragon became furious, shouting, "How dare a mere human be so arrogant in front of me?" The dragon raised its wings in anger, and following its anger, the magma river's flow got stronger. Along with that, hundreds of fire monsters like before emerged from the magma and surrounded Chen. Seeing those monsters following the dragon's orders, Chen smiled because he thought poisonous smoke monsters were impressive. How silly of him to think that, as they all were just puppets. Suddenly, a thought came into Chen's mind. He asked the dragon if turning into those monsters could be a consequence of agreeing to be the dragon's servant. Hearing Chen, the dragon got even more angry, and ordered those fire monsters to kill him and pull his corpse into the river of lava. Following the dragon's orders, all those fire monsters charged at Chen from all directions. Seeing them coming from all directions, Chen smiled, and then moved. He moved with lightning speed towards all the monsters in the blink of an eye, and using his thunder punch, he destroyed all those fire monsters and their bodies. The dragon could not even follow Chen's movement, asking what just happened, and how his servants disappeared in an instant. After killing all those fire monsters, Chen arrogantly walked towards the dragon and said, "Now that I think about it, having a black dragon as a pet does sound interesting." Hearing his provocation, the black dragon got serious, and his eyes turned red as he looked at Chen. But Chen was not scared, and asked the dragon how about he be Chen's servant instead. Chen's words were enough to awaken the dragon's madness. It roared and smashed the ground, and the ground underneath Chen's feet broke and magma came out. But Chen was not going down that easily. He took out his flame sword to attack, and when the dragon tried to charge at him, Chen first balanced his footing and then smiled, telling the dragon that he would cut him. Saying that, Chen swung his sword with full power, aiming at the dragon. The dragon tried to dodge Chen's attack, but chains on the dragon's neck stopped him from moving out of the way fully. Chen's sword strike slightly touched the dragon's neck before passing. The dragon started bleeding yellow blood. This made the dragon too angry. Its eyes turned bright red as it stood on its two back legs, shouting, "Human, watch me send you to hell." The dragon inhaled air into its mouth, and then, with full power, used its Hell Dragon Flame skill, shooting flames at Chen. When Chen saw the dragon shooting flames, he immediately placed his sword in front and used his red flame body skill. Immediately, a protective barrier appeared around Chen, which blocked the dragon's fire breath from reaching Chen's body. After blocking the dragon's fire breath, Chen mocked the dragon, asking if this was the power it was proud of. Hearing Chen, the dragon became furious and inhaled fire from the magma into its mouth. With bloodthirst in its eyes, the dragon looked at Chen and said, "Turn into ashes." Saying that, it used its Hell Dragon Flame skill and shot a very powerful flame beam at Chen. After shooting the flame beam, it stopped and said that in this world, No one can withstand his hell dragon flame for even a second. It thought Chen had died, but suddenly a shadow appeared in the smoke. That was Chen's shadow. He emerged from the smoke unscathed and mocked the dragon again, saying he thought the dragon would be so powerful, but it turns out it was only slightly better than an oversized hairdryer. The dragon was shocked to see Chen completely fine, even after getting hit by its hell dragon flame. It tried to shoot flames again, but Chen didn't give it any chance to attack. Using his lightning, he jumped at the dragon, kicked the dragon's mouth, making the dragon shoot flames into its own mouth. The dragon's mouth exploded with a huge fire explosion. Chen swung his sword mid-air and dodged the explosion of fire. He landed on the ground and told the dragon that he has the extraordinary power of fire and the energy stance of the Emperor Demon armor, so his defense against fire is almost maxed out now. With confidence, he told the dragon that he can almost ignore the temperature of its dragon breath. The dragon was surprised to find that Chen actually has the ability to be immune to his dragon breath. The dragon came out of the magma onto the ground, telling Chen that now he is a bit interested in him. But all that was an act. When Chen was in the dragon's range, it charged at Chen shouting, "So what if you have fire entity? I will tear you to pieces with my sharp teeth." Saying that, the dragon tried to bite Chen, but little did the dragon know that Chen can move with lightning speed. Chen easily dodged the dragon's mouth and jumped high in the air, giving him enough momentum to aim at the dragon. He landed on the dragon's neck and pierced his fire sword into the dragon's back, but he was not going to stop there. He smiled as he grabbed his sword with both hands, and then, using his lightning speed, he ran on the ground's back while cutting its back with his sword. But just as Chen was cutting, his sword hit something tough, which was inside the dragon's back. Chen was surprised and confused at the same time, but before he could think of anything, the dragon turned to attack, so Chen jumped off its back while releasing his sword. Just as Chen jumped off, the dragon's skin turned red. Seeing that, Chen said, "As expected of you, you are called Firewing, so you can actually turn red." Chen then activated his beast connection, telling the dragon that now it's his final moment of struggle. Chen's Godzilla's power started dominating Chen's blood. Chen's eyes turned red as fire marks started to appear on his face, and his whole body got covered in flames. Chen told the dragon that this is the new move he just learned from the dragon's hell flame blood explosion. Seeing that Chen dared to steal his abilities, the dragon got furious and charged at him with full power to kill him in one go. But after using his beast connection and this new skill, Chen's speed and strength were increased significantly. He moved to his right and dodged the dragon's mouth. Now the dragon's neck was right in front of Chen, and he didn't give the dragon any chance to react. With full power, Chen swung his sword at the dragon's neck and sliced it into two. Chen's fire sword cut the dragon's neck as if it was cutting butter. The dragon's head rolled around on the ground, and a system notification informed Chen that he had killed a level 5 dragon monster and gained 1,000 attributes. With burning flames in his eyes, Chen called the dragon trash, saying it didn't stand a chance. Just as the dragon died, suddenly Shishi's illusion appeared there. She got near the dragon saying, "Brother Chen is awesome, and the fire dragon is dead." On the other hand, after killing the dragon, Chen's fire form faded away. Looking at his body, Chen said, "With the strengthening effect brought by my 4,000 points of physical strength, only 1/10 of the chi and blood was burned. But the power generated was so terrifying. This level of physical damage is barely enough to keep up with my recovery ability." Chen looked at the fire in his hand and decided that this form is called Blood Explosion Form 1. After naming this new technique, Chen went to check the dragon's dead body. Looking carefully, Chen realized that the dragon's scales, teeth, flesh, and even its lava-like blood were extraordinary materials. He looked at the dragon's sliced head and thought that this head alone would be worth at least 100 million to the government. But there was just one issue. How would he explain to the government where he got this 5th-tier dragon head from? If he said he killed it alone, that would expose that he is powerful enough to be 6th or even 7th tier, and Chen didn't want that. Chen then helped Shishi, who was riding the dragon, come down and decided to keep the dragon's head for now, thinking it might be tasty. Chen then exchanged his 200 attribute points for storage space to store the dragon. He placed his hand above the dragon head, and it vanished. A system notification told him that the dragon head had been stored. Chen then used 400 attribute points to strengthen his intuition, because he needed to be able to see between the lines. A system notification informed Chen that he had successfully strengthened his intuition and had obtained high-level intuition. Now, the aura of monsters could not be hidden from him, and inanimate objects could also be detected. Chen then used 400 attribute points to strengthen the intimidation of his armor. Another system notification informed Chen that he had successfully strengthened his armor's intimidation. Just as Chen strengthened his armor's intimidation, he immediately felt a very strong pressure on his body. Just from that pressure, the ground underneath Chen cracked. Suddenly his whole body was covered by flames, and a new system notification informed Chen that he had awakened the king's intimidation. Chen was surprised to find that he had awakened the king's intimidation. He immediately checked the details of this king's intimidation, and found that it could cause a person to tremble in fear. Even the merest bit of eye contact could render them completely powerless. Seeing the details of this new power, Chen was too excited to use it, but not right now. He calmed himself, and the flames coming out of his body disappeared. Chen thought that this should be useful for clearing out the fishes. He decided to immediately try this new skill and connect to his Godzilla, which was in the deep sea of our country. At the same time, an our country's long-distance fishing ship was passing by. While the fishermen were fishing in the deep sea, suddenly their net got happy. They all were very happy, thinking something was on the hook. They immediately pulled out the nets, but to their surprise, there were very few fishes in their net. Seeing that, they got very confused. But a fisherman said that it doesn't matter as long as the fishes are alive. Suddenly the watchman called everyone because he saw something in the sea. As everyone looked into the sea, they saw a massive water wave right in front of them. Suddenly, thunder started sparkling around that massive wave, and the next second, the water wave exploded with a huge explosion and shot hundreds of fishes into the air like a cannon. Seeing that many fishes, those fishermen were very happy because they had never seen that many fish in their lives before. The one who did that was none other than our Godzilla, who was connected to Chen at that moment. After doing that, Chen released the connection, and the Godzilla returned to a cave deep under the sea. Chen, having used the king's intimidation, was very impressed to see that the king's intimidation made the lizard's oppression even stronger. Nothing could move in its area of effect, and while doing that, Chen discovered a new technique. When he used his flames and electricity together, Chen could fly. Without any delay, he used this new skill because humans have always yearned for the skies. As long as Chen combined the power of electricity and fire, he could be free from gravity's confines. He started flying into the air like a rocket, and could even increase his speed as he pleased. While flying in that dimension, he suddenly noticed something far away that looked like a city. Chen's intuition told him that there are unexplored places in this world, so he immediately headed towards that city, thinking he could get some information about a being that even the dragon that ruled over this world was unaware of. While going there, it suddenly clicked for Chen that Firewing is only a magic dragon that has been imprisoned here, so there must be a higher power trying to imprison it. He decided to go over there and see what was going on. The city Chen saw from the sky was the ruins of the Kingdom of Giants. Chen landed in the middle of the city and started exploring it. While looking around, he saw a huge wall painting. In that painting, Chen saw that there were many dragons, and they were all kneeling in front of some humanoid-type creature. Seeing that painting, Chen realized that there used to be a giant dragon civilization here, but he didn't understand what they were worshipping. He wondered if it was a dragon god or a true god. Before he could understand anything, suddenly a massive door beside him opened on its own. Seeing that, Chen felt like there was a huge danger there, but he also knew that there was no way to catch a tiger without going into its den. Chen opened that door, and with lightning speed entered it. When he went inside, he found a long hall with massive dragon statues placed all around. Seeing that, Chen realized that Firewing was these dragons' little brother. But before Chen could explore this area further, suddenly a system notification came, telling Chen that the pollution in this area had strengthened. He was temporarily immune to the pollution thanks to his strong physique, but in 3 hours, his physique would be weakened, and he would be affected by the pollution. Seeing the notification, Chen was confirmed that there really was something strange in this temple. Pollution had suddenly increased, which means something other than Chen had also entered this temple, but it hadn't even shown its true self, and it was already capable of causing such pollution. This made Chen more curious to know what it was, so he shouted, telling that thing to stop hiding and come out because he knew it was here. Chen's voice echoed very loudly in that temple, and suddenly Chen felt something coming towards him from above. He immediately backed off, and a very bright light descended onto the ground right in front of him. Chen, with a serious expression, asked. From that bright light, a humanoid creature with no face and 4 arms emerged, saying, "The Venerable One has awakened." Suddenly, a red line appeared on that 4-armed faceless face, creating an eye. As that monster looked at Chen, the red line transformed into a mouth, and it smiled at Chen. Seeing that 4-armed creature flying and smiling, Chen could not understand what it was. The 4-armed creature made the first move and raised one of its hands towards Chen, and before Chen could react, the 4-armed creature shot a dark lightning of eternity at Chen. Seeing the 4-armed creature suddenly attack, Chen was shocked. He pulled out his long sword and stabbed the ground, creating a flame barrier around himself to block that dark lightning. Seeing the power of the dark lightning, Chen wondered if the four-armed creature he was fighting could be 6th tier. However, it didn't take long for Chen to realize that it must be a 7th tier demon, because its power was gradually pushing him back. The four arms were using just one of its hands to push Chen back while asking Chen to worship it and surrender. As it increased the power of the dark lightning, the ground beneath Chen cracked. Hearing it demand him to kneel made Chen very angry, and he asked if it wanted to die. Now serious about fighting back, Chen unleashed his crimson flames and entered his bloody explosion Type 1 state. He released so much internal flame chi from his body that the stone and ground around him got destroyed. After unlocking his bloody explosion state, Chen smiled. He looked at the four arms with dead eyes and told it that for asking him to kneel, it was going to die. Seeing Chen's bloody explosion form, the four arms used its second hand to fight. It employed telekinesis to turn all the nearby stones into spears and aimed them at Chen. It mocked Chen by laughing at his bloody explosion form 1, then shot all those stone spears at Chen with full speed. After unleashing his bloody explosion form, Chen's speed had significantly increased. He moved very fast and destroyed many of the stone spears coming towards him, but they seemed endless, and Chen continuously destroyed them. Seeing that he couldn't break free, Chen swung his sword with super speed, creating a barrier to block the stone spears from reaching him. Then, with super speed, he jumped from the ground towards the four arms, and with his long sword, he cut the four arms into 2 pieces. But just as Chen landed on the ground after cutting it down, the body of the four arms disappeared from mid-air and then appeared right behind Chen, pointing 2 fingers at the back of Chen's head. Chen was shocked, questioning how it was still alive after he had just cut it down. While activating the dark lightning of eternity, the four arms called Chen a disgusting ant and shot the dark lightning. There was a huge explosion that destroyed the walls of the temple. As the smoke started to clear, the four arms was the only one standing. But suddenly, the four arms saw something shocking that it hadn't expected. Even after getting hit by its dark lightning from that close, Chen was still completely fine but even more angry. The flames on Chen grew stronger as he got angrier and declared that he was going to end this. Seeing Chen still standing, the four arms immediately backed down and started collecting the dark energy. This made the four arms angry, and it used all 4 of its hands to fight. It collected the dark energy and smashed its hands together, trying to control the ground and smash Chen between 2 stone pillars. But Chen destroyed those stone pillars with just one swing of his sword, and then jumped towards the four arms. He struck and cut down the four arms along with the stone pillars it was controlling to attack with just one swing. But like before, that was just an afterimage of the four arms, and it used its super speed to dodge Chen's attack. Little did it know that Chen was not going to fall for the same trick twice. Suddenly, a sword pierced the four arms' chest. It was none other than Chen who also used his super speed to get behind the four arms again and stabbed him. Chen laughed and told the four arms that this is bloody explosion form 2. However, Chen's laughter didn't last long because the four arms suddenly grabbed Chen's hand. Chen was surprised to see that the four arms hadn't died and had turned around. It called Chen arrogant and used its dark lightning of eternity again. There was another huge explosion, and Chen was in the middle of this explosion. From the smoke, Chen's sword went flying. Then a shadow appeared in the smoke. It was Chen, who walked out of the smoke saying his weapon would only slow his attacks, so he would deal with the four arms with his own 2 hands. The fire on Chen's body had grown stronger. While laughing, he charged at the four arms again. Seeing Chen coming, the four arms created a dark energy barrier to block his attack, but Chen's attack was too powerful. With just a single punch, he destroyed the four arms barrier and sent it flying, crashing to the ground with solid impact. Chen's attack was so powerful that just from its impact, the ground underneath him exploded, destroying all the nearby walls. After getting hit by Chen's punch, the four arms lost its momentum, went flying, and continuously hit the ground, unable to stop its body. Just as the four arms regained control and stopped itself, it saw that its face had cracked like a mirror. This made it very angry, but Chen wasn't going to give it a chance to attack. He charged at the four arms with lightning speed, and in the blink of an eye, he reached the four arms and punched it again in the face using his internal fire. He smashed the four arms onto the ground so hard that the ground underneath was destroyed. He didn't let go of the four arms until it stopped moving, but just as Chen turned, thinking it was all over, the four arms flew into the sky again and aimed at Chen using its fingers. It used all 4 of its hands and attacked Chen using its entrap skill. Sensing the upcoming attack, Chen immediately turned around to defend, but before he could even reach it, the ground underneath his feet cracked, making Chen lose his balance. Suddenly, Some aura chains came out of the ground and tied down Chen's legs. Chen tried to break free, but more and more chains came out of the ground and tied down his whole body. Chen tried using his internal flame to melt down those chains, but it didn't work. A system notification informed Chen that this was a dragon sealing formation, and it could absorb the energy of the item it had sealed and use it to strengthen itself. Realizing that the more he tried, the harder it would be to escape the forearms binds, Chen looked above and asked the forearms if this was how it trapped those ancient dragons. Chen then moved his hand using just his strength and told the forearms that it was a pity that it was not quite good enough to seal him. Saying that, Chen slowly moved those chains and got into position to gather his internal flame in his body. As he gathered energy, he laughed and told the forearms that he was different from those dumb dragons. Saying that, Chen snapped and broke those chains with his power. After breaking those chains, Chen released all the gathered internal flame from his body and told the forearms to listen up. He looked at the forearms and told him that his name was Chen Chu. The forearms was shocked to see that Chen had broken those chains. Seeing Chen looking at him, the forearms got scared and slowly started to back off. Seeing that, Chen started walking towards the forearms. The energy coming out of Chen's body was so strong that the ground started to vaporize slowly. Chen then took another step and suddenly disappeared from the ground. Even the forearms could not keep up with his speed. Chen appeared above the forearms, completely shocking him. With full power, Chen charged at the forearms, aimed at its head, not giving it any chance to react. He punched the forearms, sending it flying. Chen, using his speed, appeared where the forearms was heading, and then punched it with more power, sending it flying in different directions. Chen followed after the forearms and continued hitting it. He was so fast that the forearms could not even defend itself. With lightning speed, Chen punched the forearms in the face, breaking his face again. He again followed the forearms and with full power punched it in the stomach, smashing it onto the ground. When the forearms hit the ground, there was a huge explosion, and as the smoke from the explosion started to clear, a shadow appeared in it. It was Chen who was standing at last, and the forearms was on the ground with a huge hole in its chest as Chen took out its heart with his hands. Chen smiled devilishly, looking at the forearm's heart, and said he wanted its power. Chen then turned around to return to his world. A system notification then informed Chen that his crimson flame had ascended to become glass crimson flame. His lightning had become swift thunderstorm, and he had obtained a dragon sealing talisman, now capable of binding beings below the 6th tier. While walking back as Chen released his internal flames, his legs started to tremble. A system warning notified Chen that he had overexerted himself and had been 99% polluted by strange pollution. Exhausted and unable to continue walking, suddenly Shi appeared and warned Chen about the pollution. Realizing he had fought for too long, making the pollution worse, Chen knew he couldn't stay there any longer. He used his internal flame and lightning skill to fly back to the dimensional door that Shi had created. Without the forearms' protection, the world of dragons and giants began to fall apart, and slowly everything started to destroy. With his exhausted body, Chen somehow managed to enter the dimensional door and return to the original worlds. But just as he returned, he couldn't control his speed and collapsed on the ground. After he passed through the dimensional door, Shi immediately ran towards the door. Chen was very exhausted and couldn't even move his body. Shi closed the dimensional door and informed Chen that she had closed it, but as she looked back, she saw Chen coughing up blood. Even in that condition, Chen was worried, saying once the door is closed, it loses its connection to the other world, and who knows where it'll open next. Shi immediately went to check on Chen. Chen patted her head and told her that he was fine, explaining there's always a price to pay for power. After this fight with forearms, Chen realized that although the blood explosion seems like just an explosion of pure power, only someone with insanely powerful endurance would be able to withstand it. If a normal person used even type 1 of it, their blood would be vaporized instantly, leaving behind a withered corpse. So if he wanted to break through to type 3, he would need to further increase his physique. Thinking all this, Chen slowly stood up and told Shi that since the teleportation door was closed, they should get some rest. But Shi didn't say anything, and just looked at Chen, very worried about him. Meanwhile, at the ruins of the palace in the land of giants, the forearms, whose head Chen had taken out, was lying on the ground lifeless. But suddenly, there was some movement in his hands. Forearm's body slowly started moving even after a big hole in its chest, and cracks all over his body. After a few seconds, the red line appeared on Forearm's face, and he woke up, as if rising from death. Forearms woke up and looked at his condition. Purple blood was dripping from his body. Seeing the purple blood on his hands and body, Forearms became too angry and roared loudly. Just the shockwave of its roar destroyed the ground around. Later on Earth, a black-haired man in army uniform reported over the radio that at 35 degrees north, 1,200 meters away, there was a group of fifth-tier polluted monsters. He requested artillery backup. Right in front of that black-haired man was a very huge crack in the ground, and from that ground, hundreds of white humanoid-type monsters were emerging. All this was happening somewhere in K-City. At the request of the black-haired man, a significant amount of artillery was launched at the monsters. Hundreds of missiles hit their target perfectly at the crack in the earth. As the attack ceased, the black-haired man told his two subordinates that there were still 6 minutes until the second wave of shots, so he hoped this group of monsters wouldn't run away. One of his subordinates told him to relax because the monsters were consuming their dead and hadn't moved from their position. Hearing this, the black-haired man turned to his other subordinate named Mark and asked what the pollution percentage of those monsters was. Mark checked the data and told the black-haired man that it was 15.5%, adding that they should be able to hold out for another 8 hours. The black-haired man smiled, saying that it was enough time for them to wrap this up. The first subordinate got very excited and said that the bodies of 7 fifth-tier monsters would fetch a pretty penny, and, even if they weren't complete, they were still worth a lot. Mark agreed and suggested that they should use the money to increase their firepower. With a serious expression, Mark said that as long as a third of those monsters were left, he would be happy. Hearing Mark, the black-haired man said, as the people of Z country say, count your blessings. Just as he said that, another batch of missiles arrived and struck the monsters. Seeing those monsters burning in flames, the black-haired man told his subordinates that without the base's support, any one of those monsters at full health would mean they were all done for. A few minutes later, after the second attack finished, the black-haired man told his two subordinates that it was time to get to work and clear these bodies. In excitement, all three of them walked toward the monsters. The black-haired man told the others that these monsters should be enough to get 5 bottles of purifying energy, so they should keep 3 and sell the rest. The subordinates were also very happy because the black market priced those monsters at 200 million a bottle. After selling them, all 3 of them would be living like kings for a while. But when all 3 of them got near the earth crack, they saw a monster standing in the smoke. Because of the smoke, they hadn't seen that monster before, but now there was a huge monster staring at them. It was 100 times bigger than those normal monsters, and all 3 army guys looked super tiny in front of it. The black-haired man was too shocked and scared upon seeing that monster and exclaimed, "What is that?" But before they could understand what was happening, the giant monster started walking toward them. Mark's detection device started ringing immediately. He checked and told the black-haired man that the pollution level was increasing very fast and had reached 531% and was continuing to rise. The black-haired man was shocked to hear this and turned to ask Mark how this was possible. But just as he turned, he saw that the giant monster used its tentacles and killed Mark. Seeing this, the black-haired man started shaking in fear and told his other subordinate to just run. He immediately started running away, and when the other subordinate tried to follow him, he was also killed by the monster. The black-haired man ran for his life at full speed, but the giant monster followed after him. Suddenly, a red line appeared on the giant monster's black face, similar to the 4 arms that Chen fought with. It was as if the monster suddenly became intelligent and immediately killed the black-haired man. Just as he killed the black-haired man, another batch of missiles was shot at him. Meanwhile, at the Apocalypse base in M country, it was reported that an apocalyptic event had occurred, activating the highest level of Apocalypse defenses and beginning the elimination of all threats for the good of humanity. The army of M country launched a nuclear missile at the monster. The missile ascended into space and then, with full speed, descended, hitting the target and exploding with a huge blast that destroyed everything around it. The monster was still standing. While all this was happening in M and K countries, Lin was sleeping in his room, unaware of what was happening in the world. That's all for today, everyone. Before we wrap up, I want to let you know that we've recently launched a membership program here, where you can enjoy perks like early access to videos and soon, exclusive content just for members. You'll also receive custom badges and emojis to enhance your interactions. If you're interested, consider joining our membership to enjoy these benefits. Check out the link in the description to join. See you all in the next video.